know what? I should message Denisha. We're gonna be talking movies. I got to see if she's available. She might not. She may have class or something, but we'll see. Because welcome, folks. We are Grown A Geeks. It is Wednesday, so you know what that means. Weigh In Wednesdays. This is not a weight loss podcast. As our wonderful friends, as our wonderful friends over at Twitch. We had somebody join us the other night on Twitch, and they were under the impression that this show was a weight loss podcast, which I thought was really sweet. But it turns out dude was actually really cool. Hopped on with us and talked for a good little bit. Let's see, we got that one there, and let's get our Facebook one up so I can see all the comments of all the people who join us to say hello. Go ahead and get this Twitch pulled up as well. For those of you who are not already doing that, make sure to follow us on Facebook. You can click the QR code there. We found out last week that QR code, I have to change that because apparently that QR code only takes you to the Facebook group. I did not know that. I have to fix that. I've got to get my other QR code up there. So, but you can start there, and once you're there, you can find all the other great things we have. And so, oh wait, that is full screen. Don't want full screen on that. You know what? I sat here all this time, and as soon as I go live and I try to pull up my feeds, that's when everything want to go to hell. I had everything set. Now it's like one of that stuff. Let's see. I can close that. What was that? Oh yeah. It's funny. My Facebook feed has been showing me nothing but Rihanna and Serena for the last week because I liked one pic each, and now every day I get a new Rihanna picture and a new Serena picture, which I'm not complaining. That's not a bad.
Well, I mean, there was something that popped up because Tandy's always popping up on my Facebook feed, and something else. It was a furniture thing popped up. Get free samples. So I clicked for a bunch of free samples, and now my entire feed is nothing but get you some wood samples, get you some cloth samples for interior design. And I'm like, I just wanted the free leather.
Now, see, here at my house, we have the little Google Home devices all throughout, and so much stuff is already attached to my Google accounts, and so I'm trying to filter everything for this through a specific email and everything for that through that email. And then, of course, my Google account is attached to everything else. So anytime we talk around the house, since we've been doing all this remodeling, all I get is furniture advertisements. All I get is offers for credit and stuff like that. And it's just they just try to sell. But I keep trying to make it a point to say, this is exactly what I'm looking for, so that hopefully the algorithm picks it up and gives me a discount. We just had a fence put in here at the house. And because we were talking about the fences, and of course went online and looked up fences, kept getting this advertisement for this one company on Facebook. And we called, got a couple of estimates. I think we got 4 different quotes. And it turns out the company on Facebook had the best quote, best price, and they got that thing knocked out in a day. I actually don't mind the advertisement algorithm, because if it's going to help me like that, then cool. And then, of course, I'm also one of those people, I ain't got nothing to hide anyway.
Sometimes it's take a hint, man.
Right.
I was just talking about it.
There you go. And I'm all for, if I can get a good deal or a good special, and, if there's any kind of mention this ad and get a discount. Hey, this is where I saw you. Let you know where to spend your money. Let me get my discount. I'm all for it.
But the thing that got me to get rid of all that stuff with getting all the Google stuff and whatnot, had a conversation with somebody at work about something. I was like, all right, let me go look it up. I opened up my Google, and the first thing was the exact car we were talking about. I didn't even put anything into the search filter.
I mean, if I would give you some tips and advice of things you could use for that, but I hear that they like to sponsor ads and stuff and sponsor shows. So I'm not going to tell you which browser you could use unless they want to be the sponsor of this program. And I gladly jump out there. You know, if you don't want to hear about those creepy headphones that you talked about one time, you could use browser blank, blank, blank.
Which is probably the one I currently use.
Could be. But if they want to throw some out there, throw some love, then you know, hey, we'll be happy to promote that one. Definitely. But it has been a busy month for a geek, man. There, if you are into television and cinema, etc., there's a lot of content out and a lot of stuff coming. And Werewolf by Night is getting ready to drop. I have no idea what that was. I had to look it up, do some research on it to even have a clue. But I think that comes out tomorrow. Is it tomorrow that comes out?
What is that on?
Werewolf by Night. I think it's the 7th. But that's a new Marvel thing. So that'll be because what's interesting is we had the with Moon Knight. One of Moon Knight's like big storylines was Werewolf by Night. So I'm guessing Werewolf by Night. I think it's a standalone. I don't think it's a series, a show. I think it's just like maybe it's a movie, a made-for-TV movie kind of thing. And that's coming later this week. Then you've got all the regular shows. Some of the anime shows that I watched just started back up. My Hero Academia had an episode recently drop. Spy Family just had a new episode release. And then, of course, you've still got your House of Dragons, Ring of Power, you know, those weekly episodes. I am going back through the series Psych with the wife. We just finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was our, you know, if we sit down to have dinner and the two of us, if we are able to be at home at the same time and we can sit down and have dinner, we'll watch an episode or two of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that would be our together time, our quality time. And so now that we've gone through 8 seasons of that, we need a new show. We were just watching something the other weekend, like flipping through stuff, because we were doing some home improvement stuff. And so we ended up watching like the Psych movies. And so she wants to go through, I think it's 7 seasons of Psych. So yay, I get to go through Psych again. I would like to see a supercut of all of the weird names that Sean Spencer gave for Gus. That would be a very interesting. They have that already? Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, there's like a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I was typing and it was like echoing in the mic.
Right,
so.
clickety clackety click. No, that's why I was just like, you know, but I would enjoy a supercut of that because those ridiculous names. That's like a name generator. Actually, you know what? I need a Sean Spencer name generator.
That probably exists too.
That, you know what? Let's see. Sean Spencer names for Gus. No, let's see. Name generator. Site name generator. I'm Sean Spencer, and this is my associate, Dr. the Jackal Tate and wife. Mr. Jonas Agapito Garces Randolph, Lavender Jazz Hands Pomade. Yeah, this is definitely a Sean Spencer name generator.
He's one of those people where I'm just like, I would have had to beat his ass, like in real life. If I was Gus, I'm like, yo, fam, nah. Let me just do my pharmaceutical job. I don't want any of these shenanigans.
Hi, I'm Sean Spencer, and this is my associate, Big Baby, aka The Heater.
And if I was Gus, I would tell Juliet. I'd be like, this dude is lying. It's always been a lie. You can do better.
You know what? I don't believe she went through that whole series not knowing, and they make it pretty obvious that at some point she was well aware prior to and just hadn't said anything yet.
Yeah, okay. You can lie to yourself, but don't lie to me.
Like I'm sorry, but there's no way she's that stupid.
She's a really good detective. She just didn't want to fake, because I mean the chief knew. You know what I'm saying? They were well aware. They just turned a blind eye and let it be, so that it was a thing.
Yeah, and if y'all just work together, cool. But like, how can you build a life like that? Where like y'all just have like this weird secret between y'all that y'all are pretending doesn't exist.
Have you gotten to the movies and stuff like that?
I think after the show ended, I was just like, guys, it's been real. It's like, how like when you're in college and like it's people who you kicked it with hard in college,
Friends,
but
friends
like
of convenience.
yeah, like we're not gonna keep up with each other. Like this is our last time having a drink together. Let's just enjoy the night, reminisce, and go on with our lives. I'll see you at whatever random wedding we both happen to get invited to, and we'll catch up. There you go.
Yeah, and that actually is very much the case. I will say this is one of those rare times where I think the follow-up movie, let me open by saying, though it was not needed, it did actually add value to the show, because everything you just talked about does get addressed.
Right.
And so, it's
maybe I'll watch it eventually.
I mean, and I am not saying like, oh, if you love Psych, you got to go and watch the movies. No, it's cool.
You know what it is too? It's because I was actually watching Psych like when it was on. Right. So it wasn't like this like, I was just binging through it whenever I feel like it.
Oh, no.
Happy go lucky wrong.
You had to catch it.
I was like watching it on USA.
Exactly.
Followed up by Fairly Legal, starring Sarah Shahi and all these other shows they tried to get to pop off that didn't pop off.
I mean, I watched it because of Burn Notice. And Burn Notice was my jam for it.
See, that's one I just never got into. I was like, this show is too sexy. Like, I don't know what's going on. All the commercials were just like, we are so sexy. It's heat, it's fire, it's explosions, it's shirts with the top 3 buttons open. Like, I mean, everybody collarbones showing. Even
they had Burn Notice, Suits, and Nip Tuck were all kind of like right there at the same time. And they had I think the doctor show you're talking about with Saeed.
That was a lawyer show. You talking about Royal Pains?
Royal Pains. That was.
I didn't watch that neither.
I didn't watch that one, but that was the.
Why do I care about this dude like saving a bunch of rich people?
Yeah, that one I had no interest in. Suits I liked. I
didn't watch that either.
Suits just kind of fell off for me. I couldn't even tell you why. I was like every week I couldn't miss it. It was my must-see TV basically. And then I like missed an episode or something and just never bothered. And even though now it's like you can stream it on like one of these streaming services, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I started watching. I got through the first 2 or 3 seasons. And it was like once everybody knew the truth about him.
Who, the dude that wasn't really a lawyer?
Yeah.
That show was stupid. That was like that other show where it was like a CBS show where like one of the dudes was a genius and he was using mathematical codes to solve crimes and shit.
Scorpion.
Yeah, get out of here, man. Stop it.
Except the funny thing about that is though, that was actually based on a true story.
No, I know it's cool, but I don't want to see a TV show about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see math solving crime with math is like a kid show on PBS. What's that show?
Which one?
It's on PBS, and it's like the kids are all like in this like police force and they do like math. They solve like math crime.
Hey, some shit I watched.
No. It's like on now. It would have been on like when your kids were growing up. PBS math show. because we grew up on like 3-2-1 Contact, and
I remember that.
There was Square One. That was our math show. But
Square One. You know what? I remember when Anderson Cooper was on a young network news channel called Channel One News. That when I was in high school, they would show in the mornings, like while you're in the room waiting on homeroom.
Odd Squad, that's the name of it.
Okay, I have heard of that. I never talked about it. I think a lot of good TV shows, sometimes you kind of watch a show just because you started it and it's reliable, especially like when stuff comes on, you can kind of set your calendar to it. I really hate, and I will say one thing that will kind of keep me from finishing something prior to like our streaming options. If a show came on a Wednesday night and you move that to another night, odds are I'm no longer watching that show.
Facts.
And
well, it was interesting because a different world just celebrated their 35th anniversary like last weekend. And so there's a Breakfast Club interview where Jasmine Guy and Kadeem Hardison were there, and they were talking about, just like their experience. And they were saying a lot of like really interesting things. Like, the executives basically told them like the only reason like you get the numbers you get is because you're between Cosby and Seinfeld. And like everybody was just really smug about their success really only being about the time slot they were sandwiched in. But like, to your point about moving nights, they also used to move nights to like pit shows against each other. And sometimes it would be like a show they wanted to get off the air. So they moved a different world to put it up against Martin. And like, we all know, like at that time, you making folks choose. Whereas before, people will watch Martin and then tune into a different world because it's kind of one of those things too, where like, when they move the night, it's because they probably want you to stop watching the show. Like somebody unless they move it to like a primetime slot, but you never really saw you didn't see any sitcoms back when TGIF was out going from like sometimes. Well, actually, you did see some sitcoms go from like Tuesday night to like TGIF, but that was just like a filler because something that they thought would work actually ended up getting canceled. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
but
anything
Home Improvement was not like TGIF. That was like always Tuesdays. That who's the boss?
In most cases, if something was on TGIF, it had to like first of all earn its right to be in that spot because you had Full House, Family Matters, those two right there. I was about to say those two. Those were the anchors. That's what people.
And then Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World, and then Step by Step. I think was that the lineup?
When we do the tier, when we do another tier, when we have time to make some, we should do TGIF shows because there's a lot in there. Dinosaurs. There's a lot of shows that actually
I think
came out on TGIF.
That would fit in the sitcoms. I think that would fit in the sitcom.
Yeah, but I just want to do specifically TGIF
shows. Okay.
Because I don't want to have to argue with everybody about why I think Roseanne and Seinfeld are just completely overrated. But
subpar shows.
Yeah.
How did they make more than one season?
Well, no, I know the answer, but it's not the answer that everybody wants to hear.
No, sometimes it's it's just you in that spot. You got the demographics, and boom, they can run certain commercials for certain shows, and guess what? That pays for you to stay on.
Simple pretty much.
No, I mean I know with sitcoms, a lot of that is done because I was actually making a comment the other day about something we were watching, and you know what? This works out because I get to talk about a new show. I watched The Interview with the Vampire on AMC. It is so good. And I know I have a very strong bias, as Anne Rice is one of my favorite authors. My kid is named after a character in the book, Marius, Armand, no less. So I was definitely looking forward to seeing this. And having watched the original movie with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt's portrayal of Louis was actually not too bad. Tom Cruise was a little off as Lestat, but Tom Cruise sells tickets, so I get it, and I ain't mad at it. But it was really weird because, like, to see. Oh, it's funny because I'm gonna make a Game of Thrones joke because I saw your post earlier, Jeff. But to see my boy Grey Worm from Game of Thrones,
who that, the black dude?
Exactly. But to see him in this show, it was like such a difference from the character I can already associate him with.
In what show? Oh, what show you said you started watching?
Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, okay.
And only having seen him in Game of Thrones previously, to see him here, it's like these are two totally different characters. Because now my man is doing nothing but talking. He's the lead in the show. So it's like it kind of, centers around him. And the guy that they got cast.
Press about it.
Do what?
Maybe that's why I haven't heard that much press about it.
I mean, it's it's on AMC, so it's not like you're catching it on Hulu. You're not catching it on any of the other street. Like, you have to specifically get AMC Plus, which is $6.99 by itself, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm like, if it's not included in something I already pay for.
Yeah, I got YouTube TV, so I would record it.
Exactly. Well, see, like my wife has and this almost sounds like another plug, but when we dropped. So the company I work for used to give us this really, really good discount on these different services, and I still get one of my streaming services for free as a result. Once I lost, once like my cable situation at home changed and everything, I was like, well, most of everything I watch is streaming anyway, so I don't really need to worry about, paying for cable or getting another cable provider or service. And I've been good with just the streaming. My wife, on the other hand, wants to be able to like just flip channels and see what's on. And oddly enough, the only thing that I miss not having cable is Cartoon Network. That's the only thing I miss.
Yeah, because the app interface is like terrible.
The app interface, the way it's set up to begin with, is already off. Some of the episodes are locked out. And then for whatever reason, they show the episodes in reverse.
And then it's like they just start playing like random stuff. Like they try to do this thing where they're like, yeah, pick a bunch of episodes or a bunch of shows you're interested in. It's like, no, I just want to binge this one show, dude. Like, I don't want you to like show me like a mix of like Steven Universe and
well, we have Steven Universe. Right.
And I don't want to watch all like you should.
Why does that sound like my mix? What else you got on there? You got crazy.
No, because here's the thing. On the channel, they always just show a string of them. They show them in like 3-hour blocks. So that's how you get used to watching the show, and then you go on the app and you can't watch it like that.
Like, you can, but it takes work to do it. It takes work to do it because we actually did a whole season.
Work.
Right. Yeah. It's like I just want to be able to go in, select, and hit play. But
it's one of them things where it's like apps already exist. You don't have to do something different. Like, just copy it and put your content on there. Like,
right. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, that sort of thing. And they really tried to be creative, and it's like, Now it does work sometimes. Like a lot of times, Sunday morning, get up, cook breakfast, family comes and we sit down. We turn it on then, and then it's just like, let it play. It can do some randomness. That's fine. But we actually got stuck one time, and that's how we ended up watching like that's how we ended up going through like the entire Craig of the Creek season. And it was right around when the kid from the other playground, King Julian.
Hey, that was an amazing saga, and I want to give a shout out to Jeff Trammell. He was the show runner, and like I think he was the showrunner of Craig of the Creek when that was happening. He's a black guy writer out in LA. We've like conversed on Twitter. He's been like real cool. Shared some Craig of the Creek fan art that I did a while ago, but I think like the way that show went from just like random episodes, but they did like such powerful world building to like slowly now we've escalated into this like capture the flag war with like kids from across town, and it all made sense and it all fit perfectly. And you, even in leading up to it, you never felt like it never took away like the joy. They never like turned their back on like what the original kind of like ethos of the show was, which is like these kids finding a space where they can like govern themselves essentially however they want to, and just seeing like the different ways that something like that can manifest.
I mean, it is a G-rated Lord of the Flies. Like, I need people to understand like how good the show is.
Except they like go home every night.
True. But as far as like the society you refer to and how they govern themselves, I mean, they have a financial system. They have everything that you need in a successful community exists.
System. Everybody's got their like areas and their people who they chill with.
And it's
they have a cartographer.
If you haven't watched Craig of the Creek, go check it out. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But, that's the only thing I miss with cable is not having direct access to Cartoon Network. But we end up getting Philo, and my wife selected that, and it comes with like 85 different cable channels. So I mean, we have a lot of those. What's funny is a lot of the stuff that we watch was already on the apps that we pay for. So Discovery Plus took care of the last few things that my wife wanted, and now we have Philo, and so we kind of double up on some of those things. But now she can flip the channels and just find something to watch instead of having to always have in her mind what she wants to watch. And I kind of had an issue with that, and I was just like, but you end up kind of watching the same thing, so just put it. But she's also like, if she goes to Discovery Plus and she would like, go to watch a cooking show because she's in the kitchen, it's only going to play that cooking show. And it'll be like 10 episodes of that cooking show, as opposed to if she's watching that channel on cable, it'll be 2 episodes of the cooking show and then something else. So she could watch, Ultimate Bake Off and then Chopped, 2 different shows, as opposed to watching like a whole season of Chopped, which, she likes that variety.
And I can understand that. Like, I feel like sometimes if I could have like Flash, House of Dragons, Rings of Power, and like them play not necessarily in order, but like the 3 different shows, but not watching the same show
back to back
episodes.
Right. I mean, occasionally you need variety just so that
like they should
stay invested.
Yeah, they should have an option where you could be like, all right, here's some shows I like to put in like a popcorn popper, right? Like, make me a lineup that's almost like this TBS lineup,
kind of like Cartoon Network does.
Yeah, but make that, no, but that was going to be.
It needs to be an option.
Make that an option, not the default.
When
I log into the app, that should not be like how it's presented to me.
At the very least, I should have the option to, at least if I only want to watch this show, then select that show and just watch that. But I do like the way it switches up.
Yeah,
and that's a plus. And I think that's probably the only thing missing with that Cartoon Network app, because I still use it.
Or here's what they could do. They could do like how on like music streaming apps make like a playlist. Ooh. So it's like make like iconic like take like black sitcoms from like the 70s and do like a mix of like the iconic episodes from like Good Times and Sanford and Son and the Jeffersons and What's Happening and That's My Mama and all those types of shows. Just like mix them all in together and kind of do something like that. Take like a bunch of Thanksgiving episodes and make a Thanksgiving episode playlist, make a Christmas episode playlist, make a musical episode playlist of like whatever shows you kind of have on your app. Do like a playlist where it's like every time Tom Hanks was a guest star on the show or whatever. You know what I mean?
You know what? Hulu does that.
Okay.
Well, Hulu. Okay, let me correct. Hulu does not give you the option to create the playlist. So being able to make it yourself would be a really good way to do it. but Hulu has themes. And like right now, it's spooky month. It's October. So for October, when you log into Hulu, like the first thing that pops up is like, here's all the scary content, here's all the scary movies. And they have like the Halloween episodes of all the various shows. So if you're watching XYZ shows, it will bring those episodes to the forefront because I know.
But does it play like, if I press play, is it going to play Halloween episode of Full House and then followed by the 2-part like Family Matters, Steve Urkel doll episodes followed by, you know what I mean? Or am I going to have to leave out and then go back and individually select?
No, and I am being clear. It's not a playlist as you mentioned where you can just like pick all of these. I would have to go through and just play with that Hulu to see what it does. But I do know that they have the themed.
Oh yeah. We know about that. They always roll it out in around February time.
Right, like they have all the themes, everything. And see, and
you want to mess your algorithm up? watch one black anything.
It's like, oh, since you like this, here's some other stuff you might enjoy. Matter of fact,
it's like you watch Black Lightning. That must mean you like Homeboys in Outer Space. How? What?
Right.
What's the correlation?
Because those two shows go together. You didn't know that?
Yeah. What's similar about them?
What's going on, Jamie?
It's like when I was like in college and like you would ask somebody to like describe someone, or when people were like, "Oh, who's Jeff?" and they'd be like, "Oh, he's the guy over there. He's got on the big guy with the black hoodie." It was like 4 people that were black hoodies.
But that guy with the one with the beard, where there's 3 of them over there with beard. But
or they like call your name so you turn around.
Right.
But him, the guy that turned around when I said his name.
That's Jamie. Jamie laughed at your comment, so she's saying hi. Jamie's been one of our guests. She was our guest one night. She came on and she enjoyed some time and hung out with us. It's a buddy of mine. I've known Jamie for quite some time. You know, it's funny. We're sitting here talking about TV shows, and I think tonight I'm ready to jump into this tier maker. We're gonna do something a little different tonight. Do something a little fun. Jeff gave us a really, really cool tool that we can use, and we've gone through, and we're just going to start off using what was given to us. We're not going to.
I just want to acknowledge this is stolen from Trill Withers podcast. He does a sports podcast. You follow him on Twitter. Trill Withers is cool. He's a funny guy. They talk about sports kind of in less of a macho man way and more of a jokey joke kind of way. So respect to him, respect to that show. I don't want it to be all like, oh, you came up with this idea on your own. I saw something that
let me tell you something. Going to the website, this shit has existed for quite some time.
Yeah.
We are not new with this.
I got it.
We want to give a shout out to him one more time. What was his name?
Trill Withers.
Trill Withers. So
that's his Twitter name. I don't know.
Check out Trill Withers on Twitter.
It's like the Matrix, where you got a real name and then you got your Matrix name.
Shane, what's going on, man? That's the homeboy Shane Johnston. Yes, man, catch him live. Even if you don't catch him live, be sure to go back and just watch them on the YouTube. They're there. There's YouTube, Twitch, and of course, if you can find them, they're here in Facebook as well. So definitely check them out. But we're going to actually start including some segments, give us some fun things to do so that we'll have some, we'll still keep our free talk and our open forum. But tonight we are talking movies. And we are going to use a tier maker, and we're going to categorize a large group of movies. I don't know that we will get to all of them, but we will get to a lot of them. And we have 3 of us on here tonight. If anybody wants to, hey, Jamie, say hi to Shane. Well, Shane, Jamie just said hi. Jamie and Shane know each other. I know both of them. We all know one another. It's fun times. So we're gonna get through a lot of these movies because I think it'll be real easy for us to. I don't know. I'm curious to see where some of these are gonna fall. There's 3 of us, so that's the potential for 3 opinions. But I think we have a good, diverse group of opinions here. Everybody knows I'm kind of middle of the road. I like damn everything. If I dislike something, you failed. You have failed. If I dislike
You gotta leave that somewhere over the rainbow stuff outside this conversation. We gotta be honest.
Oh no, and I am very capable of being critical. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also understanding a lot of times, I'm a little bit more easygoing, and for me, a lot of times it's just I was looking to be entertained. I watched this movie. This was my expectation of it. Did it deliver my expectation? Yes, it did. Okay, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Now we are actually categorizing movies, and here are the categories that we chose for. And let me just say, these movies were selected for us. They came with the tier maker. They did not come. These were not the movies we chose to try to categorize. But we decided, looking at a quick glance at the list, we decided our tiers were going to be God tier movies. Required.
God tier franchises.
Is this one the franchise one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the franchise one. All right.
It's not the trilogy one. It's the franchise one.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. My bad. No, we're doing something different with that. That's going to be fun. That'll probably be, look for that in group. So if you're not part of our Facebook group, be sure to click that QR code or find us at Grown A Geeks. So tonight we're doing franchises and we're going to be ranking them. Our top rank is God tier. This is God tier. I don't even have to explain that. You should know what that means. The next rank is required viewing. It's not quite God tier, but you need to see it. It's that good. You should see it. A very common one. It started strong, but lost their way. I'm also going to clarify that we decided to kind of minimize the number of categories that we had. And that one started strong, lost their way. That will also include if they have, say they've got 10 in a series. 5 of them are good, 5 of them are poor. Obviously, it's not going to be in some of the others. It may go in the started strong, lost their way, even if the latter movies are the ones that are the stronger films. So we also have, how did they make more than one of these? And that is different from started strong and lost their way, because you may have 2 or 3 good ones out of a series, but that was it. Sometimes only the first one was good. And then, of course, just haven't seen. Maybe there was no interest, didn't stay with it, or just was never interested in seeing it to begin with. So, God tier, required viewing, started strong, lost their way. How did they make more than one and have not seen? Without further ado, Grown A Geeks tier maker movie franchises. Okay, I am not going to read through this entire list. I will call the movies out
just do one by one.
As we get to them. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first one they have. This is Kung Fu Panda. The Kung Fu Panda series.
Low key, Kung Fu Panda series hits.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Jack Black.
I've seen them all, so I'm good with it. I would put that under. You know what? Maybe we need to add one more category, but I think with that being required viewing.
Yeah, That's what I was gonna say. It's not perfect because there's other. I'm sure there's other animated franchises in there that'll come up later that probably will end up in that God tier. And it's like, I think it's a step below on impact, but I also think it just suffered from that DreamWorks, you just feel like fake Pixar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's
I didn't see any of those movies in theaters.
Great value Pixar. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like I didn't see any of them in theaters, but like kids watch them on DVD, kids watch them on TV. They're always on, and they're not bad. But it's just like nothing inspired me to. They weren't good enough to inspire me to like see the next one in the theater.
I can't even say that many times they've inspired me to see the first one in the theater. I don't know. Some Pixar's magic. It's different. I don't know why, but Pixar is Pixar for a reason, But I do think that DreamWorks has had a lot of good stuff, and they deserve a little bit more recognition sometimes. Because, like you say, they do well at home.
Yeah,
they do well at home. So it's
I didn't realize even well, I don't know if it's on here, but like I didn't realize How to Train Your Dragon was such a big deal because that seemed so corny to me. But I was just so far out of the wheelhouse for that I didn't realize like people loved it.
They got like 6 movies, 7 movies.
Well, there's 3 or 4 movies and 2 series.
See, anytime a cartoon movie makes a television show and it holds, I feel like that's a sign of a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to be watching it, and they can put their commercials, advertise their toys. People are paying money for that to stay.
All right, next one. Karate Kid. All right, so is this just the?
We said franchise.
Is this just the movie? But does this include Jaden Smith?
Because that's like that is a Karate Kid movie.
And then does this include Cobra Kai?
I was about to say, now I would think that these are movie franchises, and I would say the movies. I would not include Cobra Kai, but I would include Jaden Smith.
Okay. So that's Karate Kid 1 is not as good as people remember it. Karate Kid 2 is better than people remember it.
Exactly.
Karate Kid 3 is the best of all 3 of them, which is a shocking feat for a trilogy.
Yeah. What about the next Karate
Hilary Swank was weird.
I think it was good for the time.
Yeah.
And I liked what they were trying to do with it. And it was is it safe to say it was ahead of its time? Like, it was very progressive then.
Yeah. I would have liked, I think I feel like it maybe would have hit more if it felt more like it would have been cooler to me if it was just like she's fighting girls and not just like learning how to beat up boys, which kind of seemed like the message behind the movie, which is cool.
Right.
But I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I guess I didn't feel...
You needed $1 Million Baby in that movie?
Nah. I don't know. I think I just wasn't... I don't know. It's not... But it's also like not one that I've seen as many times as the other one. So I think I partially just accepted like the general consensus that it was bad. But I probably should go back and rewatch it. And it's probably better than what everybody was saying back then, because we wasn't trying to see no women do karate when that movie came out. Like, let's be legit. And that's if we would have had a lot more women, Asian stars come over when like Jackie Chan and Jet Li and all those guys started making it here.
And Cynthia Rothrock would still be on top. Michelle Yeoh would have been a star a long time ago.
Yeah. Like, that's embarrassing.
Those 2 women right there were martial arts. They are still martial arts, and it's a damn shame.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think for the time it was a little progressive, and younger me probably couldn't appreciate. But I have watched it again, and you know what? I could tell. Looking at it now, I should have noticed then Hilary Swank was a damn good actress.
Yeah.
Karate Kid. I would have to say, now we also have to include Jaden Smith's Karate Kid with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, and I don't think that movie is bad. No,
I was about to say, I think that actually holds up really, really well for the franchise. And I think it tells the same story in a different language. It's a little bit more modern with the Kung Fu aspect as opposed to karate. But all in all, I think the Karate Kid's a solid franchise. So much so that they now have Cobra Kai, and everybody is in love with Cobra Kai, kind of revisiting those same things.
Yeah.
Like, I think
when you can redeem what's his name?
Johnny?
Yeah.
When you realize Johnny really wasn't the bad guy. You go back and you look and you see, and it was Krill who was really the bad guy. And maybe Danny wasn't so great to begin.
Like Danny was obviously like a little shit stirrer.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like you also like don't have to sweep the leg just because the coach says do it.
Correct.
And you don't also have to like beat people up like you wasn't fighting Danny like 1-on-1 either. Like all y'all knew karate and was ganging up on him.
But the funny thing is, now we're not gonna break down the semantics of this, but they wasn't ganging up on him. They was just not letting Danny leave. They just wouldn't let Daniel leave that fight. But he kind of started that himself. He was down at the beach. You know what? Go back and watch. Daniel LaRusso's an ass, and he deserved everything that could have happened to him. And if it wasn't for Mr. Miyagi, he would have got his ass beat.
Oh, facts.
Final Fantasy. How did they make more? Not Final Fantasy. That's Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. Does that fall under you know what? Has there been a good one?
No.
I kind of do feel like the very first one, just because it was the first live action.
No.
It
was not good. Just because it's first doesn't mean it's good.
And I do understand that. I do understand that first does not automatically equate to good.
Jessica Alba is terrible in all of them that she's in. The chemistry is not there.
No. And then when they remade it, it was 100 times worse.
It's like a yeah, it's like no chemistry at all between them. The thing looked crazy. The only person who was good in it was what's his name? Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because when you watch the movie, it's like his character seems like such a slacker, but you just believe it because he's actually just doing a good job acting. And you just assume that he's that kind of person, so he's just playing himself. But then, like, as he grows as an actor, you're like, oh, he's like just a good actor.
Mm.
Yeah, he's also not another teen movie, so it's like, it's that fine line.
Yeah. I mean, he was being tight, but he wasn't bad in that.
No, he wasn't. I mean, everybody who honestly, Not Another Teen Movie is one of the funnier parody films.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah,
that's one of those. That's one of those things where it's just like we have to pretend like we don't like that kind of stuff to be mature.
Nah, damn that! Give me all the dark jokes. That shit makes me laugh. The Muppets. Which one is this? That's just the Muppet remake. So how does that fit as far as franchise?
Just the Muppet remake? That's on. I think that includes all Muppets because the Muppet remake is a continuation of those are all the same characters.
Well, for me, that goes into, I don't know, all of them aren't good.
I know.
But the Muppets are kind of like.
I think they had two instances where they started strong and then it fell off. Because the first remake was actually decent. And then the second one was like, why are we in Russia?
Yeah,
why is Tina Fey Russian?
Yeah, they did a lot of weird stuff with the Muppets.
I mean, the Muppets Take Manhattan?
Mm-hmm.
The old ones. That's
that was a good one.
Right, that's a good movie. And then there's a Muppet Wizard of Oz. That's also.
That was actually hilarious.
I was about to say that's actually a really good
movie. I watched that movie after smoking weed with my mom for the first time. Fun fact.
That, you know what? I can see how that probably would have been even better.
I still remember it.
Madea, I don't think that's a memory you forget.
That's
probably one of those.
Well, I also smoked a blunt with my granddad the night before that. That was crazy too.
That sounds like a whole coming of age podcast by itself.
Smoking with Pappy.
Smoking with Pappy. You know what? That's the name of the new show, Jeff. Smoking with Pappy. Madea. I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't even seen all the Madea movies. I've seen most of them.
I've seen one of them.
Which one? Boo, a Madea Halloween?
Probably.
It's right around that time, so that might be the one to check out. You could probably find that on any urban network that's still. Let's see. So Madea. I've kind of got to go with how did they make more than one of these?
Nah, man. Diary of a Mad Black Woman is a good movie.
It is a good movie. Okay, so I will say start.
And then so we got Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That's the one when she pushed him in the bathtub and left him there, right?
Okay.
Then what's the one with? Then there's the other one with Shamar Moore with the wig.
Ooh.
Now that movie is good. The wigs are bad, but the movie is not bad.
Is that when
Meet
I can do bad?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Hold on.
Medea this, Medea that. And then here, Medea goes to jail. Decent movie. I feel like I would put that in the like.
Okay, so here
started strong.
Here are the list of the Medea movies.
Okay.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman, Meet the Browns, Medea Goes to Jail, I Can Do Bad All by Myself, Medea's Big Happy Family, Medea's Witness Protection, A Medea Christmas, Boo, A Medea Halloween, Boo 2, A Medea Halloween, A Medea Family Funeral, and A Medea Homecoming 2022. I didn't even know that was a thing.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about Medea, I think. Are we comparing these movies to each other, or are we judging them based off of whether they like accomplish their intended goal? Because you're right. It's like Medea is not as none of the Medea movies would be critically like held up against like Muppets.
I don't expect them to be critically acclaimed. And I mean, even like if we were just ranking the Medea movies in order of Medea movies, cool. I'm good with that. I could do that. And I didn't see Boo 2. I didn't see Medea Family Funeral, and I haven't seen Medea Homecoming. Damn, is that the last 3 Medea movies?
Yeah.
It's only the last 3, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I've seen all the other ones, and they all have like a stellar. Actually, I didn't see Witness Protection either, but I did see Christmas. I did see the first Boo. Big Happy Family, Bad All by Myself, Goes to Jail. I Can Do Bad All by Myself. Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm familiar with the character, the show, the concept, everything, and as a whole, like, I even get the purpose of the Medea movies, and I would almost even say, like, should we even consider, because I'm looking here, it says franchises. Does it have to be a Medea movie to qualify in this case? Or is it all the movies that Medea is in? Because if that's the case, you take out Diary of a Mad Black Woman, you take out Meet the Browns, you take out I Can Do Bad All by Myself.
Nah, if Medea's in it, it's a Medea movie.
Okay.
Because the way Medea works is Medea just got a big ass family. It's gonna be Medea, Mr. Brown, Cora, and the lady with the glasses. Yeah. They're gonna be in everything. But the cast around them, it's gonna be a new cousin, a new granddaughter, a new crackhead auntie, a new like all these people. Like you just had this big family reunion, and we ain't gonna see none of these people ever again because we're gonna get a new set of black actors in here to revolve around Medea. If she's in it. Now, see, I did leave out movies like The Family That Prays, which is actually a good movie, but it's just a Tyler Perry movie. It's not a Medea movie. But I feel like even if Medea is not in the title, the way the characters are constructed in the movie, it's like Medea is the centerpiece.
Okay.
I would say for it to be a franchise, if there are at least 3 repeated characters, it's part of the franchise.
I don't even think that you necessarily. I think in a case like this, that would be a good criteria, and maybe for some other movies that would be a good criteria. But I don't think that's required every time because if you take something like just at a quick glance over here, yeah, I was about to say you may not have enough characters to have repeated characters, but you always have John McClane. That character follows along each time. I was actually looking at
the cop. He was in all of them.
Carl Winslow.
Yeah,
I don't think he was in the one with Sam Jackson.
I'm pretty sure he was in all of them. I will double check that.
I only remember him being in the first one, and he has like a cameo in the beginning of part 2 because part 2 is a continuation of part 1. Like that's where that story picks up. But I was thinking something more along the lines of like Predator, where you could have a brand new cast every time, but as long as you include a Predator, it's not the same Predator each time, but that counts as a franchise because it's always a Predator.
Right.
So that you could have some variety. But in this particular case with Madea, I would say I'd still got to go with Started Strong. I can't put it under required viewing. I feel like there's a few misses in there. And
yeah, but when you say required viewing, okay, when you say required viewing, it means the whole series, you should watch all of them. Because I would say, like, if we were talking about Karate Kid, you could maybe tell people, like, you could skip the Hilary Swank one. I mean, you're not going to, but, like, I feel like that's how most people would, like, do it. And you could still have, like, an opinion about Karate Kid. Because I feel like our public discourse around Karate Kid is mostly just about 1, 2, and 3. And mostly 1 and 3, if you want to be honest. People act like 2 doesn't really exist, but that's because they don't want to subject themselves to the power of love.
No, you know what? I think 2 is, Chosen. Just seeing Daniel get over the girl from the first one, you know what I'm saying? He got over her pretty quick, in my opinion. And he goes over to, that's the one over there in Tokyo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gets over there and, I won't say certain comments, but he was happy to be over there. It looked like he would have stayed over there if he had been asked. And you know what I'm saying? Like he got over there and his temperature went up. But
facts.
It was, I definitely think that one holds on very well. And with the 2 former rivals competing for the affection of another, we get to see their arc and their growth. We get to get a little backstory on Miyagi. I think that's a solid entry, and that to me is, like you said, that's probably one of the strongest ones in the whole series. But as far as like required viewing, I just feel like some of the Madea movies are just not good movies.
True.
And for that reason, I would say you could probably skip a lot of them and still have a good opinion of Madea as a character.
True.
And like
all
you
right,
said,
I'm cool with it. I just wanted to make sure we wasn't just being like, yeah, Madea movies, like, get them out of here, because some of them are good.
And I'll concede that point. I definitely laugh. Like, I definitely laugh.
Right. All right, what's the next one?
We got Blade.
Required viewing.
Yeah.
As corny as 3 is, I still like the third one. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If the third one was better, it would be God tier.
Yes.
I agree.
And truthfully, the only thing that really, as much as I hate to say this, the only thing that really hurt the third one was Jessica Biel. Her character just didn't. I don't know if it was Jessica Biel herself,
or the character they had her playing.
Right, like Whistler's daughter. Just something about that character, Jessica Biel as that character, did not fit that movie. Ryan Reynolds was Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. So he was consistent. Having Triple H as one of the bad vampires, that was like, okay, whatever.
Because he used to have like a vampire thing.
Mm-hmm.
When he was a wrestler, he used to be Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He would come out and drink out a goblet and all that shit.
I didn't know that was based on the vampire.
Yeah, that's what Triple H is short for, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and it was like a vampire, because he would come out and they would be like all like frilly shirts, and they were like part of their, like, there's like a really funny gif of him where he's like, that's from like those days.
And I vaguely recall some of that. I just remember I know the name Triple H.
It wasn't popular.
Do know it stands for Hunter S. Helmsley, but anytime I think of like the vampires, that was like the
Edge and Christian.
Right, Edge and Christian. And that was were they a
See, Triple H was doing it when like the NWO was popular, because Vince McMahon still didn't want to use stables. But then once once NWO popped off, then they got like Nation of Domination, and then D-Generation X popped up, and that's when Triple H like abandoned the like vampire shit, and they became like the NWO of WWF at the time.
I don't even know what this says. Oh, that's Godzilla.
See,
started strong. No, how do they make more than one?
Really?
Well, actually, no. Are we talking? Does this include Japanese Godzilla too?
Like, I think it would have to.
That says Godzilla. It says King of the Monsters. That's the image they have. But technically, if we're talking franchise, it's going to include all the Godzilla movies.
Okay, then that's the right space. Started strong, but lost their way. Because the more CGI got, the worse the stories got.
True. Beethoven.
How did they make more than one of these?
How did they make more than one?
The first one was great, but that's all we needed, fam.
Yeah.
Like this little motherfucker had puppies everywhere. Like we had, like they didn't listen to Bob Barker. Have this dog spayed or neutered.
Right. We got
Rush Hour started strong.
Yeah. You think started strong?
It's one of those where it's like in between. Like you should still watch them. Actually, no, required viewing.
I'm like, no, that's gotta go to required viewing for me.
But with the caveat that it did start strong and lose their way. It just didn't fall all the way off. But like the difference between Rush Hour 1 and 3 is
night and day.
Yeah. It's palpable.
But you know what? I also think a lot of that has to do with Chris Tucker and the changes he was going through. Triple X. That's going to include
the Ice Cube one too.
Yeah, it's going to include that.
Union.
State of the Union.
Personally, I like State of the Union better than the first one. But
I like the last one.
Yeah,
the first one was kind of like. The first one was still in that time where we were like, let's try to make Vin Diesel an action star. And I wasn't quite on board with that.
Like
I get why they wanted Vin Diesel to be an action star, but I wasn't ready to accept Vin Diesel as an action star. And then
what else was he going to be besides an action star?
Have you seen Hard Boiled?
Was that his like student movie they be talking about?
No. Like
that was a stock market scam.
Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi, Neil Long, like that's
I don't watch stuff like that.
That's good ass movie though.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like he had the capability to do other stuff, and I mean he could definitely do some other acting. But it was like, yeah, I get it, you know. But when the first Triple X came out, I was like, yo, this is corny as hell, and it was like, how do we make a young James Bond?
Yeah, it was like, what if James Bond came from the X Games? And it's
pretty much. Wasn't that the damn trailer?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the voiceover for that.
Jumping off stuff.
In that movie, they loaded it with freaking cameos.
Yeah.
Freaking Machete was in there. Tony Hawk was in it. And personal opinion, the best part of that movie was him driving the freaking vet off the bridge.
Yeah. That was like the opening sequence. And then it's crazy. He does all that to get cable connected so that they can watch a soccer game. Like, bro, I'm not buying this. I'm not believing this. It's too far-fetched. But
that was the third movie.
I think it was too. It was like he was trying to be. I feel like Vin Diesel has a personality that's more like, or he has an on-camera personality that's more like anti-hero / villain. But in this one, it's like he's like the good guy. Like even with Dom Toretto, it's like, yeah, he's a criminal, but he's just doing what he has to do to like help his family. But I feel like in Triple X, it was just like now he's Robin Hood, and I'm not buying that.
I don't know. As an entire series, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I hate Triple H. It's just
No, I feel you.
I can't even say they lost their way
but it's also one of those where it's like I think sometimes you look at something and you're like, this had potential to be something, but you guys skip the story for the like glitz and glamour. You know what I mean? Like the thing about that compared to like his other franchise that he started in, like Fast and the Furious, like that is like an actual like good movie. That's a good like like you're infiltrating a gang. You're going that movie. That's a movie about going undercover to like uncover some sort of crime and getting in too deep, but the cars are just like a part of it.
That is Point Break with cars.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then like,
and that's
this
why we
is
all
just
liked the first one. It was fucking.
But
awesome.
this is like not even James Bond, because James Bond has the moments where you believe that he's like figuring something out. He has the moments where you see him being a super spy and like stealthy, and it's like, bro, you're so big. Like you're so big, dude. Like you're literally a bulldozer.
And I will say that by the third movie, that was the one that had like Donnie Yen and Ruby Rose and they had to form a team and this, that, and the other. Like that one, the story in that one actually made sense. And since each one of these people were members of Triple X, it's like, oh, okay, so we're going to take all these people who have been a part of this program, who are like, every one of them has some kind of issue, but they're highly skilled at what they do, and we're going to make a team out of them. I can see how this would work.
Right.
It's a believable movie. So the third one to me is the strongest out of the series. State of the Union was actually a really good movie, and I think Ice Cube did a surprisingly good job with that.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also because Ice Cube probably when there was like, I'm not jumping off nothing, I'm not doing nothing, like none of that crazy stuff. Like
his shit was believable.
Because he'll go in and just be like, you know, niggas not gonna believe that I'm doing this.
Right.
Whereas Vin Diesel, you know, I feel like he's very much of like, I'm an actor. I do what, I don't know. Sometimes he comes across as like, go ahead.
I guess it has to fall under required viewing, because I can't be like, it lost their way. And out of what, 3 movies?
I don't think it's required viewing, honestly. To me, required viewing means you need to like start from the beginning. And if you get off the train on your own, cool. But at least like the first 2 movies will be like somewhat decent. This is like the first movie's bad. I don't know why I would watch any more of these, and you telling me the third one is good. It's like I would like it, and it's not one of those things that you could just watch the third one. Yeah, you would not miss anything about the entire franchise. And honestly, you would probably have a better experience because you would be thinking about this more as like an extreme A-Team or Young Expendables, as opposed to like Vin Diesel and his sidekicks.
Yeah, that's very valid. You know what? And I guess we need to like have one more category: started weak and picked up steam. But just know that started strong, lost their way. We did clarify. Sometimes they're going to be good movies at the end. Sometimes they'll be good movies at the beginning. Vacation series, National Lampoon's Vacation series.
Oof. Including Ed Helms.
Yeah, I guess it has to.
And I wonder if you're gonna call I know it says the National Lampoon's Vacation, but does that include all the National Lampoon's movies?
No, I would say that would include all the vacation movies. So
but
National
there was
Lampoon's
only one.
Vacation, Christmas Vacation, European Vacation, the reboot Vacation.
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay.
Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
And
I remember watching that vacation movie as a kid on TBS and not knowing like what was gonna happen once they got to Wally World. I don't know like if I had really ever laughed at anything like adult that hard in my life when I was a kid. Just because this man really went and got a gun. It was just like, you about to open Wally World. And we're about to ride rides. And everybody's going to have a good time.
Yeah, he went and lost his mind in that one.
Turned into Falling Down.
He loses his mind in all of them.
Yeah. So you have, So I think we got them all. There's Vacation, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation, Christmas Vacation 2, Hotel Hell Vacation, and then there's the reboot 2015 at Helms Vacation. So yeah, all of those. I gotta say, Christmas Vacation 2 with Randy Quaid and Vacation. And I didn't even see Hotel Hell.
Yeah, I've only seen like maybe 3 or 4 of those. Like
I would say started strong.
Yeah. That's definitely a started
because
strong.
The first one's funny. European Vacation's funny. Christmas Vacation is funny. Vegas Vacation is meh to me, but
Vegas Vacation is where the decline starts.
Yeah.
It has a lot of good moments, but it's not as solid as the first 3.
Yeah.
And then Vegas Vacation 2 is a joke. Like, why did we even do this? So yeah, I would say that's perfect for that. Men in Black
started strong.
Yeah, I haven't even seen.
Sam, the first Men in Black movie is so good. Like it's so good, dude.
I'm gonna tell you the biggest problem with Men in Black. Men in Black 3 is actually the biggest problem.
Have you seen the 4th one?
I have not. But Tessa Thompson, Chris Hemsworth. It's a reboot.
3 is a good movie compared to 4.
Then that's really bad.
I mean, I feel like the third one just like abandoned. Like, why are we doing time travel? This is an alien movie, fam.
More importantly, the whole premise of the movie is we get through 1. He's now an actual full-fledged agent. By the end of 2, Kay is ready to retire. He doesn't want to, like he's done. And he gets bleeped out, and now, Will Smith.
You mean at the end of the first movie? He took over. He does that.
2 is when they went back and
they went back and got him out of retirement.
Get his memory back.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 is the bad movie.
Yes, and 3, and 4.
How did they make more than 1? They should have just.
Well, no, because I understand. I understand how you make more than 1, but to me, what you do is you just keep telling that story. Now you have Jay come on with like a new recruit, and just tell a new story instead of keeping going back to like Tommy Lee Jones and then like the young version of Tommy Lee Jones and like who, like why are we like? There's other ways we can get this dynamic. And there's other ways we could show growth in like Jay's character, but they just kept going back to that Tommy Lee Jones and I feel like they didn't care as much about the story. It was just like, can we get Will and Tommy to like agree to do something? And but like they started off like the makings of like an entire universe. It's like, okay, like this cockroach dude came to the planet. You just discovered there's like all these little aliens controlling people on the inside. Where is that in the second movie? Like, why are we not building on that? When are the next cockroaches like coming to Earth? How are we not establishing on top of what we've already built? Why are we trying to tell like some completely crazy and new, unrelated story? Men in Black should be a show. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And the Saturday morning cartoon was cool.
I was about to say it was for a while. It was a cartoon. I remember that. And see, that they had a Creature of the Week thing. And that was a good formula.
Yes.
Ooh, here's a tough one.
They should have let Homegirl be his partner from the first one.
Oh, she's the key.
No, not Rosario Dawson. The white girl from the first one, who was the
medical
she worked in the morgue.
I got to go back and rewatch this movie. I cannot keep this shit together. Like, wait a minute, which movie was that? Who?
Rosario Dawson is in the second one. But in the first one, remember, like the first dude who dies goes to the morgue, and then Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones show up to the morgue, and then that's when they find out like the face opens and the little alien is in there. And
I remember that.
And she sees that, and then they're supposed to like flash her, and like they like argue about it in the morgue, and she's like, I don't know what you guys are doing, blah blah blah, whoop whoop. And then like the cat is there with her, and she has the cat.
Okay,
and that's why the
vaguely remember that because he was like, hey, you can't just be like bleeping, you scramble people's brains. I remember that scene, but I'm like, I cannot picture that girl.
She's like, no, it's not. I was literally about to say she's like Taylor Leone's. She looked like Taylor Leone's cousin.
I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking of her because she was in
Bad Boys.
Okay. I have to see the cast because I cannot think of who that is in the first.
She looked like Taylor Leone and Nev Campbell had a baby.
Gotcha. Linda Florentino. I do remember her. Yeah. Okay.
I feel so old now.
Right.
Why did I look that up?
Because I had to look it up too. I'm like, I can't remember this. But let's see. This was also some shit. When did this movie come out? 1990 what? Okay, so I mean, forgive me if I don't remember that scene. That one time.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not tripping.
No, not you. I'm just like for the people listening. It's like I cannot think of this damn movie.
I was doing that scene because I felt like that was the one where like that's the first scene where you like meet the character.
And you know what? Now that I'm like having a moment, I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember. And she would have been, she could have been a good replacement, and then that would have already given us the same dynamic that they were trying to give us before with Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth.
And they teased it because it was like at the end of the next movie, aren't they like together getting like newspapers, and she has on a suit?
That was the end of the first one.
Yeah. So she was
she was the replacement, but then they did the time travel bit.
No.
Then
they started the second one. He had another partner.
It was like Chris Warburton or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, they were underground in the subway with the worm.
That was that's the guy with the voice.
Yeah, Chris Warburton.
No, Patrick
Warburton.
Yeah. You know what? This shit is obviously forgettable to me. That's I cannot remember these damn movies. I could not keep this stuff together. And I'm just like, okay.
All right. What was the last time you watched one of those?
Where do y'all want to put that? I haven't even seen the fourth one. So
Men in Black, it should be started strong but lost their way.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I obviously it's like, I'm stuck with it.
Matrix thing started strong, lost their way. There are hours and hours on the internet of what's wrong with the Matrix.
Yeah.
I think we have to like. What is that?
Star Trek.
I
know where you want to put it.
Where do I want to put it?
Oh, go ahead.
Where do I want to put it?
I would assume you would have put that in God tier.
Absolutely not. Not the movies.
Which
okay.
Now hold on. Which Star Trek is that?
All Star Trek as a
the
franchise.
Movies.
Well, the reason I ask is because there's another one on there. Because there's
like with Chris Pine.
There's another one there. Right, and I want to say I saw hold on, go back up.
Well, why don't we just for
third row down, 5 from the end.
Do they not know how franchises work?
I think we can roll all the Star Treks in one and just judge it as Star Trek.
Okay. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because they had like 3 different pictures up there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just do all because there's not like, I mean, there's a bunch of movies, but I feel like all the franchises, the Star Trek movie franchise is weird. It's like every other movie is good, but the first one sucks. So it's hard because you can't just be like, yeah, watch the first Star Trek movie because it's terrible and it's so slow and the payoff is not worth it in my opinion. But then you have like the ones like with the board, but then you have weird ones where it's like we're going back in time because we have to travel in time with the blue whale so like aliens don't destroy our planet because blue whales are extinct. But the aliens only speak blue whale. Like, man, if y'all don't synthesize, like y'all don't understand blue whale, all these alien languages.
Y'all don't have a universal translator that works on
It's
this.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did some dumb stuff with the movies.
And that's because it's just supposed to be a TV show. Like,
I don't
I'm
know,
sorry. It
but I
works
feel like
best.
they did have like some good action sequences, and you know what I'm saying, if you are, and the funny thing is, it's like having not watched every one of like all the episodes or a full season of anything yet. I stand by the movies. Like that is universal for me. I feel like the movies are strong enough to say that this is a required part of geekdom and sci-fi and the whole nine, and they're strong.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. If you actually have watched any of the shows that are connected to the characters in the movie, you would never tell anybody, even just like as a crash course, just watch the movies if you just want to like know about it. Because the show is that far superior to it where it actually makes the movies come across as worse than what they would be if you haven't actually watched the shows. And I think the reason behind that is Star Trek is really more about camaraderie of the like crew. A lot of times those with the movies, they either don't spend a lot of time on it because you should know them from there, assuming you know them from the TV show, like in the older ones, or it's almost like too much time. And now this is a like romantic soap opera drama about the cast and not like about exploration of a ship because we aren't allowed to like explore this as slowly as we like need to because telling the story about a bunch of people who live together like on a ship generally is not a something that you do in like 2 hours with that many people and you exploring and you going to other planets and doing all this stuff. It's like
I mean, the idea, the concept behind it being that is essentially saying that if you like this, read the book is better. And I mean, and I get that. There's so much more detail and information you're going to get from a series where you have, 22 hours or
but there's
hours of something.
But there's some books where the movie is bad. And so the people who read the book will be like, read the book, the movie's bad. And I think like if we use that analogy here, Star Trek movies are the books. I mean, Star Trek shows are the books, and Star Trek movies are the movies. And it's like the book was so much better than the movie that it makes, even if the movie is like somewhat decent, once you've read the book, you're like, it's like when people read Jurassic Park for the first time and there's like so much more information about like the dinosaurs and this, that, and the third. And it's like, oh man, why wasn't any of this in the movie? But but agree to disagree. I don't know where we ended up putting it, but I feel like
we haven't decided yet, and I had to get your opinion.
I would not say required viewing, but I don't know if I would say started strong, but if we're using started strong as just like it's just hit or miss in the franchise, I would put it there.
Like if it was specifically the TV show, I personally would put it as required viewing.
Same.
If it
like there are required viewing movies in the Star Trek franchise, like Wrath of Khan, I think.
Well, oh yeah,
but
you know what? Like looking at this, then what do we say if? Okay, so then they clearly have original trilogy or like the original.
Yeah, that's the original movies.
That would be Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
And Next Generation has its own set of movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you have the new movies.
and all of them are the same, hit or miss.
Yep.
None of them. I don't think any of them end up in a different tier than like the hit or miss category because.
So what else were we looking at on the list here that we were trying to debate? Do we go just by the TV show or do we include was it Muppets?
I think it was like, no, it was not Kung Fu Panda, but
Karate Kid.
Karate. Yeah, because I asked about Cobra Kai.
Because I'm like kind of glancing through the list and I see House on here, and that's not a movie, that's a TV show.
Yeah, just pick the movies.
Yeah,
but we don't have to do everything suggested down there. You can just pick the movies.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna say Started Strong because it's hit or miss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one we can agree that's going to be our kind of our catch-all for in between. Obviously, it's not required viewing, but it's better than how did they make more than one.
Yeah.
We probably won't have anything in the haven't seen categories.
I don't know. I'm looking at some of the stuff on there, and I'm like,
All right,
I know I ain't seen it.
Friday.
Oh, I like those.
Required viewing.
Yeah.
The Man with No Name. So that's what? Hang 'em High.
Walking Tall.
No. High Noon. I think it is.
Oh, fistful of dollars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Right.
Yes. Which
I'll say God tier.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Like I was gonna say if you're into westerns, definitely God tier. If you wanted just a good movie and you don't care that it's a western, it would go in required viewing.
And see, I kind of feel like that is minimum required viewing.
Yeah. But
I would say
think it's a solid. I think it's a solid trilogy. I don't think there's anything
Mhm.
bad in any of those movies. So yeah,
yeah.
I think that fits as a guy. I think that fits.
And I think
I
think the historical context of what it represents also is like important. But in terms of just like the style of movie and being like the quintessential representation of the spaghetti western.
Yeah. Quiet Stranger comes into town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good with that as guy tier. Cheech and Chong.
I have never seen any of the Cheech and Chong movies, so
I've seen
I will
one.
recuse myself.
It's not here, man.
Yeah, I've seen one a long time ago.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
I kind of.
It's. I'm gonna say, how did they make more than one?
Yeah, like both. What did they have? Like 3 movies?
There was like 4 of them.
I mean, it was one of those things that was like, it's a very, very specific time frame for the movies. So it's like, all right, Things Are Tough All Over, Up in Smoke, Nice Dreams, and oh no, there's a couple on here. Let's see. Cheech and Chong's next movie, Things Are Tough All Over, Up in Smoke, Nice Dreams, Still Smoking, animated, and I don't even know if that's a real thing there. Corsican something or other. See, I don't know that Born in East LA is that really actually. That's not a.
That falls into that category because
it stars Cheech Martin.
No, Cheech Marin.
Sorry.
And
stars Cheech Marin, but he's not playing Cheech in the movie for one, and Tommy Chong's not even in it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Yeah, that's that. I don't think that one doesn't work because at least in like the other movies, they are playing the characters of Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, that it is a very select group of people would watch those.
Especially for the time, like an 80s hippie influenced kind of movie. Okay. I'm good with how did they make more than one of these?
Yeah, that next one can go into that category too.
Yeah, they only should have made the one.
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect.
Haven't seen
any. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen all of them, but they're not bad movies. Don't know that it makes required viewing, but I feel like the story is actually pretty solid for it, and it's I'm not going to say Glee. It is like.
Well, I mean, you got two people that haven't even seen it.
Oh, it's God tier. Y'all are missing out, bro.
Anna Kendrick just always looked like somebody farted, so I have a hard time watching stuff that she's in.
You know what's funny? I would have a big problem with Anna Kendrick if I only had Pitch Perfect to go by. But some of the other stuff that she's been in actually redeems her. And in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, she's less her than she was in the first one, if that makes any sense. But yeah. You know what? I've not actually seen. I shit you not. I've not seen High School Musical.
Me either.
Hey, our first one.
American Pie.
Never seen any of them.
The first one was decent.
That's how did they make more than one? I don't know how we got to like American Reunion and like who was watching these movies? I'm trying to remember anything from another American Pie movie. I can only remember the stuff from the first one. Insidious.
I have not seen any of those.
Me neither. I don't be watching that scary stuff. You already know that.
My wife actually got me to watching these. Some of them are good. They cross up. Wait, let me make sure this is the right thing because now that I'm thinking about it, is that the one? Insidious film series? Because it's like, is this the? Yes. Okay, so the family that I don't even know how to explain it. Like, Patrick Wilson is in these, and he's really good, and they cross over. And I'm trying to remember. There's one of the series that he's in that's a scary movie series that crosses over. I have to like find what movies Patrick Wilson is in that. Because if it's not the Insidious series, no, it's The Conjuring. So if The Conjuring and Insidious are not connected, nope. I haven't seen that one. So not the one I thought it was. All right, RoboCop.
How do they make more than one of these? Even though RoboCop 2 is the better movie, it's still like, fam. But I get how they made more than one in the time, but it's like looking back, like a robot killer cop. This sounds crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Have you seen the reboot?
Yes.
Okay. Reboot's worse than any
Don't
of the
try
other.
to make me feel for this killing machine.
But he was murdered.
Okay.
Silence of the Lambs series. The Hannibal Lecter franchise.
Started strong.
Yeah.
Jaws.
How did they make more than one?
See, I'm like, how did they make more than one?
Because the first one was good. And Steven Spielberg said he was going to come back.
But there was.
Now, I don't know how we got to 4.
I don't even think there should have, like, in terms of story, there's really not even a sequel there.
Yeah.
That's for me, that's why I'm saying, like, how did they make more than one of these? Because, like, honestly, like, you take something like American Pie. If we get to like 8 movies, it's the exact same characters. We are literally just watching them grow up. Nothing is changing. They're not having new adventures. They're not doing anything different. They're just aging, and we're watching the process. Every couple of years is another movie because they're a little bit older, right to the point where somebody gets married. We've watched them graduate high school, get through college, and now they're married. We didn't need to see that. All of that could have been, not properly, but it could have been condensed into a single movie. You know what I'm saying? It could have been like at the wedding, they were having a conversation, boom, flashback, and now they're all talking. Remember that time when?
That movie is called The Best Man.
That is my point. You could have done it in one movie.
But then everybody been like, y'all trying to be like the best man. Y'all ain't slick.
Some people would be like that. Other people would be like, what's The Best Man? I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah. A lot of people would be like that.
So with Jaws, I feel like there's not something new that's happening. You know what I'm saying? If it was like Jaws Jr. and now it's the baby shark that's coming back and he's going to attack the boat that killed his father, you know what I'm saying? My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. Maybe we would have something here, but no, I can't. I can't with Jaws. How did they make more than one? Superman.
What's that?
But see,
go ahead, Sam. Tell us where to put it.
Well, first of all, the quest for peace kills it from being God tier.
Yeah, that's what kills it.
Yeah.
This is all the Supermans. This is not just Christopher Reeves.
I'm aware that it's all the Supermans. And honestly, it would go up in either at least started strong, probably under required viewing because 1, 2, Man of Steel, all 3 of those movies are good.
1, 2, Man of Steel. Okay. That sound like started strong to me.
Yeah.
First 2 Supermans with Christopher Reeves is good. Then they get a little wacky. Brandon Routh got a raw deal. And then Man of Steel, I mean... I still
say that...
We would be more gracious to Man of Steel if Batman v Superman and Justice League were better movies. And I'll just leave it as that.
Fair. If I could get more than 3 good movies, I would put it under required viewing. If I could have gotten more out of Superman Returns,
then
I would
because you would be able to say like you need to like watch these to have like an understanding of how like larger society like views the character, but nobody considers Brandon Routh when we're talking about like how we think about Superman, which is, unfortunate for him because he's a good actor. Seems like a nice enough guy. I really liked him on Legends of Tomorrow, but boy, was that movie terrible.
But it was just bad all over. He was actually a great Superman in it. Pink Panther.
Oh, facts.
Pink Panther. Wow. It's been so long since I saw that. I can't even judge that accurately.
Me either. I ain't never seen none of that. Only Pink Panther I know is a cartoon.
Oh,
this is like the
that's like the French dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what, 60s?
I mean, that would also technically have the one with Steve Martin, which came out in the 2000s, but yeah, the original movies were that would have been 60s. We'll just list that under haven't seen. I can't speak on that with any kind of.
This is tough.
So for Batman, I can see here that they have Batman up to Nolan. but I don't see Dark Knight trilogy. So we're gonna. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So see, here's another case where you have two separate trilogies, but to do it accurately, we have to count it as one, as a franchise.
Yeah,
and they all started off strong
yeah.
and just fell off.
Yeah.
Like if we're keeping it a buck, even Nolan's like he
Yeah.
can be honest about the Dark Knight Rises being like
It's the greatest superhero trilogy ever, man.
Nah, that was Blade.
Actually, I gotta say that as far as a trilogy, I don't even know if I could get at the Blade. I think the only one who's probably had a solid trilogy in some time probably gonna fall to this man here, Captain America.
Yeah.
Because all three, but he also has the advantage of having Civil War as his third movie.
But that's going to get complicated. I can already see that when we get to that point.
Let's see. All right, so we got Hangover. I've only seen the first one.
Same.
No. Which one was Kim Jong-un in? Is he in the second?
All of them.
Yeah, he was in all of them. And I'm kind of on the how did they make more than one?
Again, that's one of those. I remember The Hangover. I cannot remember. I'm trying to think of like either the second or the third movie and like what happened in either of those movies. And like, you know what?
And see,
I can only remember the first movie.
And see, the messed up thing about it is each one is a continuation of the one before.
So it's really just one long ass movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even tell what this is. Oh, that's TV show. That's 70s show. John Wick.
Minimum required viewing.
Same. I don't know that it's necessarily God tier because it is like the weakest of stories.
Oh yeah, the story sucks, but the movies are great.
Well, honestly, it's not even that my issue with the story is they keep enough mystery in the story to keep it interesting because they don't give you anything. They show it to you and you see that it's there, but they don't explain it. Like those ridiculous tattoos on his back. The fact that he walked, like he has this book hidden in the library that has this special Russian cross and he walks in and like now she has to like do what like wait, what? So it's like there's something there. You know what I'm saying? And it just feels it's times with John Wick that it's like actually I'm kind of making an argument against it now, but it feels at times that it's kind of lazy writing to not dive into those parts of it. And they keep kind of drip feeding us all this extra stuff because there's supposed to be like this whole thing coming out for the Continental because there's a whole story right there. Just that you have this entire underground society that they're like presenting and we just have to accept that it's there. But they
go ahead.
They do such a good job of immersing us in this society that when we see these things, you feel like, okay, well, if you're a part of that world, then you're going to know about these things. And so it's normal for them. A gold coin to pay for everything is normal to them.
Right.
Yeah. I'll still keep it under required viewing because all three movies are like strong.
And they're coming out with a fourth one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like it's one of those where it's also so new in the cultural zeitgeist that like you don't really know if it's gonna like hold up to be like God tier also. So you kind of want to be in some ways like a little bit conservative and so with some of the newer stuff, in my opinion, because like if it doesn't hold up, then you're like looking back and like, oh yeah, like we all thought we all thought this movie, like, we all thought the butterfly effect was so innovative and crazy, and it's just like you look back and you're like, actually, this movie's dumb, and it's not like
it's not as
deep
deep
as you think
right. It's
it
not
is.
as deep as we're trying to make it. But Ashton Kutcher
It's
was
like
so
actions
popular.
have consequences. Wow, like welcome to first grade.
The only thing that made that interesting was recognized, like, if it had had a little bit more randomness to it, I think that could have strengthened the story of Butterfly Effect. But that's a sidetrack.
Yeah.
The
Let's not
Purge.
get sidetracked.
Right, I'm trying to do good. All right, The Purge. I've only seen the first Purge.
Yeah.
But people love The Purge. And they be getting excited about it. And I'm just like, why?
It's a neat concept.
Because that's what they be wanting to do.
He ain't wrong.
They all they doing is beta testing the idea before they like unleash it on the unsuspecting public.
Huh. You know what? I haven't seen enough to have an educated guess.
Me either.
I did see the first one, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I truly feel like maybe once again, this is a situation where since crime is legal for one day a year, every year, are all the other purges just something that happens in a different year? Like it's the same story, you know,
Well,
Yes.
different setting.
well, the thing is like the first one, if I'm understanding it correctly, because I've not actually watched all of them. The first one shows the concept. The second, you've got a group of people that are trying to get away from doing the purge.
Yeah.
The third
It's like
one,
it's multiple years, I think. Because like there's like the one where it's like the very first purge, and it's like they do it like in a black neighborhood, obviously.
Again, I haven't seen enough, but it still to me feels like ultimately, no matter how it goes down, it's the same concept rebranded every time they make a new movie. Crime is legal for one day of the year. Here's the story of what happens on that day. Also, I haven't seen enough, so it either has to stay here or haven't seen. Because given that it's a whole franchise, if I've only seen the first one, guess it's safe to say I haven't seen the franchise.
yeah.
I feel like horror, like horror movie enthusiasts or scary movie or thriller enthusiasts probably would probably put it under required viewing. I haven't heard anybody just being absolutely like all about the Purge concept as a series. You know what I mean? It's been more just like people see it, they talk about it. If it's on, they might watch it, but I've never seen anybody just be like, "Yo, fucking Purge, bruh." It doesn't get any better. You know what I
that's
mean?
kind of my point. Like, let's see. So we got trying to check something real quick. Just do a quick look up. So that one. Okay, let's see this one. Yeah, they don't all seem to be like ranked super high or anything like that. Audience score 27 on one. Audience score 48 on another. Yeah, these ain't like super high, so maybe the enthusiasts still would be like, it's okay. Alien.
I would say started strong.
Which ones pull it out for you? Is it the new stuff, Prometheus and all of that?
Yeah, it's just they should have stopped and they didn't.
I like Aliens. Alien 3 is a little odd. and then from there you would get what? Prometheus, and wasn't there 2 from that series?
Well, and there was also like the Alien versus Predator, and
if we start including all of that.
well, I mean, it's part of the. I think Jeffrey muted himself.
You can include it when you judge Alien and when you judge Predator.
Which I think Predator is on the list.
So where do we want to put Predator? Because does Predator make required viewing? So if we say Alien, right away that's going to include Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
So that movie by itself, I thought, was not bad.
No.
The Predator series as a whole, you have Predator, Predator 2, Predators, Prey, which everybody's raving about Prey.
Which I have not seen.
It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a good movie. You're muted. Uh-oh. I don't know what you do. All right. It's not letting me unmute you. It says your mic is not connected. But so I need to know what all is in the Alien franchise to like really. Oh, you know what? Okay, so you're gonna have Alien, Aliens, Resurrection, Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Predator 2, Alien Covenant, okay, so that Alien 2 is not part of that. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember that. Yeah, that's a whew, it's a good bit of. Not yet.
No, you can't hear me?
Okay, now I can.
Okay. Cool. I don't know what happened. My microphone's going crazy.
So, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien versus Predator, and Alien versus Predator 2. All of those make up the Alien franchise. And then Prometheus, and so it's Alien Covenant. Second following Christmas was directed by Ridley Scott. So Alien Covenant is, I guess Alien Covenant qualifies as Prometheus 2. Shit's confusing. But all right, Jeff, what's your thoughts on Alien?
I don't be watching that scary stuff. I would say just because of like I think too when I'm thinking required viewing, it's like, all right, how many of these movies you got to watch to where like you know what's going on? And I know enough about the Alien series. Like I've seen Alien and like I've been in the room when it was on, but I wasn't paying attention to it enough to say I've seen it. But I know enough to like know what's going on with the franchise, and I've read about it, and I find it like interesting, but just like the tone of the movies is a little too suspenseful for me. But I think I would say probably either. I would probably say just from what I've heard about the films, it would probably be in the like started strong category. That and Predator. Because I feel like it's kind of just been a little bit up and down. Like new directors come on, new people come in, and yeah. What's that?
We putting Taken into how did they make more than one of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you make see. And I think sometimes it's just like you make movies like wrong. Like I feel like you could have made a Taken 2, but it's just like somebody different. It's like you can't just be Liam Neeson, one man versus like everybody all the time.
I mean, literally, like in Taken, his daughter gets kidnapped. In Taken 2, his ex-wife gets kidnapped. And I think Taken
Keyword
3,
ex-wife.
right?
Like, I mean, I know if it was mine, well, I won't say that live.
Arrivederci.
like who even got kidnapped in Taken 3?
Him, probably.
The only reason I think there was like any hope for any of the Taken movies is this character of Brian Mills was created by Luc Besson. You know, and honestly, I think the first one was good, but these would probably make like awesome books. All right, 50 Shades series.
No opinion.
I can't even say how did they. We do need just one other category for just like, why did they make any of these?
Well, that one is understandable though. It's like anytime there's a book that sells as much as that did,
it's gonna
unless the author says no, there's gonna be a movie.
Absolutely. I mean, I get that.
With Ellie Goulding on the soundtrack.
Yeah. It would have been nice if they could have resolved the whole thing in a single movie. How they managed to make 3 movies out of that, but I guess people kept going. So,
but aren't there like 10 books? It's like a whole book series. It's not just one.
What?
No, I honestly think it's like a 3-book series.
What?
50 Shades?
Yeah,
3 books.
Said 3?
Yeah.
Technically, for the original series, there are 3. Then she rewrote, because these 3 are from the female perspective. She then wrote 3 more from the male perspective.
Is that the series Grey?
Yes.
Ladies eating that up.
That's why they eat it up, because it's, whew.
Husbands need to come home from the bar every now and then.
You know what I'm saying?
The wife at home sitting on top of the washing machine.
Reading another book.
Right. Wonder why she calling out Dorian. Whatever his name is. It's like, you 42. You're never going to be a professional bowler. At this point in your life, bowling should be something you do with your family.
Okay, so unless there's more books coming, I only see one book called Grey. So you got 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, 50 Shades Freed, and then Grey.
Well, how many movies they make? 3?
3.
Okay, so there's
that
Grey
makes sense.
and then Darker. Wait, what the hell? Okay. So 50 Shades of Grey, and then it's okay. So there's probably going to be a 6th book. So 3 and 3. I should be smart to do that. So Grey, Darker, Free. Yeah. But there's only 3 movies, and I wouldn't be shocked if they come back and make the Grey movies. Why the hell?
We
not?
spent way more time talking about 50 Shades of Grey than I ever have in my life.
Where does Riddick fall? Riddick.
Never seen him.
Really?
Really? See, I'd say that personally, that's required viewing.
I like Pitch Black.
Actually, I did see one of them, and I don't think I really liked it, but I don't think I was really paying attention either.
What's the?
It was Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and there's supposed to be a fourth one coming.
We can't count that supposed to be. But
Right.
yeah, I did like Riddick. And I like Pitch Black. I think Chronicles of Riddick is the one that I didn't care for. But I always have to like...
Except there's a lot of stuff in Riddick you wouldn't understand if you didn't watch Chronicles.
He becomes the king in which one?
Riddick.
Okay, see, I watch a lot of movies. If you don't stand out to me, I do remember like him having to, was it Chronicles where he had to escape the prison and everything? Solar flares.
I might have those switched because I think Riddick is the one where he had to escape the prison, and then Chronicles is the one where he becomes king.
Man, I need guests on tonight because they can be answering these questions for us. I'm not gonna look that one up, but all in all, I will say that I did watch the animated movie. I have seen all of them. I do enjoy that series as a whole. I feel there's only one that wasn't as good. And even Pitch Black, where he's not the main character, he's just a supporting character in that. But I will say, like, the character was strong enough to get a whole movie made about it.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably go for that being required viewing. Yeah, because even what was bad was still good.
Yeah.
All right, Rocky. Now, since we are talking specifically franchises, we spoke a little off air, and I'm going to say any movie that contains characters from the Rocky movies qualifies. So that will include Creed and Creed 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because having Ivan Drago and Drago's son, who have to fight Creed in that movie, that is directly related to Rocky.
Yes. You
could not have set that up without having Rocky. So that one is directly connected. And I was thinking about that earlier. And I think even for the other thing we're talking about, that would have to be considered there as well. So where does Rocky fall? I'm not taking anything less than required viewing.
Oh, yeah. I agree. And this can be up to y'all, but to me, the thing that would keep it out of God tier is that one movie where at the
Rocky
start
V.
Is that the one with the
Tommy Gunn?
The computer generated thing where?
No, that was Rocky.
Oh yeah, Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, that one was the only one in the series that I didn't like because I was like, that was they were reaching on that.
Honestly, I felt like that was par for the course for that character. That's the same type of dumb shit he does, and that's what makes that character is basically the equivalent of calling Marty McFly a chicken. You can get him to do anything if you call him out. The man already got brain damage and should not be fighting, and yet he wants to know if he could beat him. Could he go the distance? Does he still have it? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's what he does. It's who he is. But not the best movie. I'll say that. Yeah. Let's go into required viewing unless anybody has an argument for God tier.
Okay. I guess the question is like for God tier, does it have to be absolutely flawless? Because I feel like to a degree it's like the more movies you make, the harder it is to get it right. In my opinion, the only real true misstep, like full like misstep in the series is Rocky V. Just
that's a lot of Rockies to only have one misstep.
Yeah.
And to come back strong as they did with Creed.
And here's the thing. You could actually skip 5 and Rocky Balboa
Yeah.
And nobody would be like, you're not a real Rocky fan. They're like, bless you. I wish I could unsee 5.
Yeah. So I will agree that could fall into God tier.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Babies, and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yes. Started strong.
Yeah.
The first Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was amazing. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid was actually not bad.
I was about to say the first two,
but
actually.
Nobody wants to see the adults.
Yeah.
Having fun. That's not what this category of movie is. You know what I mean?
Santa Claus.
How did they make more than one of these?
I've only seen one of these.
We don't need Christmas movie sequels. You know what I mean?
Very, very rare.
Pick one Christmas in your life, make a movie about it, and let's move on.
It should be a Christmas story every time. Just tell that one story, that one Christmas. Even 8-Bit Christmas, that was actually really good. Let's see. We got The Mummy. Ooh, will that include all of the spinoffs?
Started strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even the reboot was like, it was like the original had that like Indiana Jones energy, and the reboot he just tried to make it like Mission Impossible with the sarcophagus, and it's like this.
Yeah.
This don't feel right.
I don't think that those are the same story. Like even as a reboot, I don't think that is the same. Like, what am I trying to say? Okay, so
it's the same. It's the same production company.
No, I get that
it's
part.
The same, like
what I'm saying,
quote unquote technical IP, but I don't know if it's a continuation. It's the same IP because it was considered a reboot of the Brendan Fraser series.
Okay, then that because I know when they were trying to do that reboot and they wanted to create their own monster universe, they were going to start with The Mummy. Whereas the Brendan Fraser movie just focused on this
ancient Egypt.
You know what I'm saying? And it was more about the character that Brendan Fraser was playing and his thing, because he was like kind of Indiana Jones, but young and hip with it. You know what I'm saying? And that was the draw there. So I just look at that as being different. But
the tonal shifts are major, which is part of the reason why I put it in Started Strong, because I just feel like anything where you going into tunes and taking stuff, if you got white people doing this, it needs to be a comedy, because I'm not trying to see like colonial grave robbing and be like, oh yeah. Like I felt like Uncharted didn't really get like a lot of love, but that had that same like Indiana Jones mummy feel to it. But I don't know. I also didn't play the game, so I don't know if like the gamers were mad at it or whatever.
See, as somebody that played the game, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The weird thing about it is Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are too similar. It's like they're talking to themselves at different stages in life, and sometimes it's like a little bit annoying.
You were not wrong.
It's like both of y'all are just like perpetually almost out of breath when you talk.
Yeah.
Which makes it even funnier when you think about the fact that like that's just how Mark Wahlberg talks, but Tom Holland chose to do.
He says it right at the end of his breath.
But Tom Holland chose to do that.
Yeah, he decided he was going to talk like him because that's how he was talking.
Yeah.
Tom Holland always sounds like he's explaining himself.
Yes.
That's my biggest issue.
The only thing that I had an issue with, and I only had an issue with it until I talked to Sam about it, was the fact that it had a very Spider-Man feel to it.
Yeah.
But he reminded me that the game has a lot of parkour in it.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that was one of the things that kind of helped because it made it, in a weird way, a little bit more believable. So even though you're kind of instinctually seeing this character that you know plays Spider-Man do these things that are Spider-Man-esque, because it still fits the character in the current movie, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I have a character who like always plays a ninja in movies, and then I see him in a movie, you know what I'm saying, like doing karate, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I know him to do. When I saw Donnie Yen kicking ass in Rogue One, I'm good with that. You don't have to have a lightsaber. You're Donnie Yen. Would have been cooler if he'd had a lightsaber, but it's neither here nor there. Jack Ryan.
No, it's here. No. It's here and there. They should have give some people lightsabers, man. Stop being so precious with it. Now that y'all putting black people in, it's like, I don't know if everybody can. Give me a lightsaber, dog.
Yeah. And him, I definitely like, ooh, he would have been badass because he was badass with a stick.
It's like, you can be in the movie, but you got to be blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
You gonna make Ip Man, but you know what? I was kind of okay with Ip Man not.
And you gonna also be kind of comic relief.
It was good for his character, nonetheless. It was good for his character, and I'm okay. You're right. All right, Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan. Huh? I mean, he made a comment about Star Wars. I can't help it.
Yeah.
All right, we got Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, The Sum of All Fears, and Shadow Recruit. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. That's the Jack Ryan film series.
Wait, Hunt for Red October falls under that?
Yeah. Alec Baldwin was Jack Ryan in that movie.
Okay.
And the general that Sean Connery's general guy, Marco something or other.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hold on. Like, I'm not sitting here at my computer. Let's see. Marco Alexi. Is that right? Oh, and of course, it wants to pull up everything except Hunt for Red October cast. There we go. Marco Ramius. Captain Ramius, yep. But Alec Baldwin played Jack Ryan.
Okay. See, I was going to say I haven't seen that. But, I mean, Hunt for Red October was good.
Harrison Ford was a believable not spy playing a spy in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
I like both of those. The Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck was, again, it's weird because the character of Jack Ryan is this guy who's supposed to be sitting behind a desk. And he ends up not sitting behind a desk and doing all of these great spy things. That might just be required viewing. I think all of them are good. I don't think there's a bad one in there.
I'll agree with that.
That's a good series. I mean, even if you go right to the Amazon Prime show, like everything is good there. Meet the Parents.
Why did they make more than one of these?
Yeah.
Because even though like it's like, and I only say that because it was a rom-com. It's like you told the story you wanted to tell. They got together. Like, why do I care that like this guy just can't seem to figure out how to get along with like? It's like, damn, dog, like grow up, get along with your like family. It just got like and then, you know, now if they had just done the spinoff where it was like, okay, we're just gonna go meet the parents, but it doesn't make sense to do it the other way because y'all already getting married. You should have just put the Fockers in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like y'all didn't ask us to care about what his parents thought the whole first movie, and now all of a sudden here we go.
But that's also one of those, because so many people liked Meet the Parents and it did so well. I'm sure that's the only reason they came up with like, oh, let's do Meet the Fockers.
And see, I would say with the genre like the rom-com, which I enjoy, I think they should go the like Billy Crystal route, where it's like I work with like a lot of the same women over and over, or like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Like we work together, but we're not trying to tell the same story every single time we work together. Because I mean, hell, even like a Adam Sandler and a Drew Barrymore, like they've been in like a ton of rom-coms together, and they've all been like completely different dynamics. And so that way that pairing doesn't get stale. Even if the movie is not like that good, it's not bad because Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler didn't have like chemistry. You know what I mean? Okay. But I just felt like going back to that the well of chemistry makes sense, but the well of like trying to tell the story with the same characters, because like that's not even a rom-com. It's just a buddy movie with like Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller. I don't even know the lady's name who he's trying to marry in the movie, actress or character.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm at a
loss. Those are and Ben Stiller and
Bobby De Niro.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, even his mom, even Barbara Streisand as his mom, I know that. You're right. I don't know who the wife is.
I just feel like if we're gonna do that,
and I don't know the mother-in-law.
If we're gonna make it about like the son-in-law and the former CIA agent, like okay, like let's make this something other than just like family members meeting each other and trying to get along. Like make him go on like some CIA mission accidentally with him or something, you know what I mean? Like spice this up, because them just like living in suburbia. I guess there's a target demographic for that, but I don't understand how you get as many movies out of that scenario as they ended up getting.
Right. X-Men. Where do you want to put X-Men?
I don't even know if we have the right category for that up
there. I told you there has to be like one other category.
It's definitely not required viewing.
No.
There's only... It's like, I get why they made more than one.
Yeah.
But
again, we have to clarify, and maybe I just need to change the wording here. Started strong, lost their way. Maybe that needs to be
hit or miss.
Hit or miss. Some good,
I put
some
X-Men.
bad, some ugly.
X-Men got to be hit or miss.
Do we just want to create?
We should do. Oh no, you know, we should do one. We should do one that's hit or miss, and then we should do one that's more miss than hit.
Let's see. Can I even add one in now? I don't even know how I would add another category.
Don't worry about it. We'll do it for next time.
We'll be ready for it. Bridget Jones's Diary.
No thanks.
Yeah, no.
I haven't seen any of those.
Not worth. You know, it's a movie about a white lady who don't know who her baby daddy is. That's the third one I know. Because I remember thinking in the theater, how crazy would it be to make like this movie about a black lady who doesn't know who her baby daddy is? It would not be like considered like some American sweetheart tale. I don't know.
It's okay. Let's see.
That movie series is like not good.
It's not. Tomb Raider. That's another one of those that's going to fall. For me, that's going to fall. Started strong, lost their way, but only on the reboot. I needed my second Tomb Raider with the new chick. I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her too, and I thought it was really unfortunate that like they're not moving forward with making any more with her.
Yeah, I like that one a lot better
It
than.
was Alicia Vikander or something like that.
It's like, why make it if you're just going to do that to us?
Yeah, and why make it good on top of that, especially after the
Right.
first ones were not that great.
It's like the first ones weren't that great, but it had Angelina Jolie. So then that's why they got to make like more than one. But then like this one is like actually good, but you didn't market it. Nobody knows who the actress is because you signed an unknown, which you should do, I think, in a lot of these roles.
Mm.
And then like you're like, oh well, it didn't like make the noise that we wanted. It's like you didn't help it. You didn't try. Like I saw that movie on a plane.
That's a
good plane movie, but
good plane movie. That should be a whole category by itself. Good plane movie. Poltergeist.
You already know not to ask me.
Again, I'm trying to think what. Okay. Again, I think it's just one of those things where like I really only know the first one.
They did. I want to say there was.
I feel like there's three.
The original.
I saw that one.
A second one and a reboot, or a reboot and a continuation.
Now they did a reboot. The reboot is of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's 4 movies.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I know there is Poltergeist, The Other Side, and if you're saying reboot, the reboot was on the first movie. So let's see here. What was Poltergeist 3? Yeah, Poltergeist 3. It's again Carol Ann. Yep. And
yeah, see, I didn't even watch past
Poltergeist. Okay. In the movie Poltergeist 3, Carol Ann's name is said a total of 121 times. Wow.
All right.
That's funny. What do we got? Where does that?
Just skip and grab the good ones. Well, yeah, leave that one.
All right, Scream. Scream falls. I would even say started strong, because there's a couple. Like the first 2 movies were pretty good. By the third, they started getting a little silly. And then to like, when you can reboot your own series with your original characters from the first, maybe you've been doing this too long.
Oh,
like you said, you're not telling a new story. You're telling the same story again. Well, if you all can see this list, what do you want to yank off the list? To pull out real quick.
Skip Madagascar.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
God tier.
The whole trilogy, even 3.
Even 3.
Okay.
Because the third is the cowboy.
Yeah.
And it's, Barton Ravine. You got Clara Barton right there, and Red Cross and all that little bit. I mean, it's. I think I've probably seen 3 the most, ironically.
Yeah, because they used to show it on TV all the time.
Like they were forcing 3 down our throats, but every time it came on, I would still watch it.
But they were forcing 3 down our throat because they had the cartoon that was coming out, and the cartoon was like based on like the events after 3, because they had the train that they would use to go through time on that show.
I'm gonna put 007 under required viewing.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that. Which I got an email today that Prime has all 25.
Nice.
Yeah.
They can go in there and check out some old Bond. You know what? On Pluto TV, there is a Bond channel. I came across that on accident. So how did they? Let me see if I can find a better one for. Oh, Jurassic Park. Where you want to put Jurassic Park?
Started strong.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's so disappointing.
But don't feel bad because I got to put Star Wars there too.
I don't feel bad about that. That's their fault. They should have made the black man a Jedi.
What about the Ocean series?
Never seen any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna say that's a recommended viewing.
I'm gonna say, how did they make more than one? You really only needed the first Ocean's 11. Everything past that was just like we have an all-star ensemble cast. Let's just keep doing stuff with them.
Yeah, it's almost like they were having like script writing contests where they were just like everybody was like, I'm gonna try to write an ensemble heist movie, and then they were like, cool, let's just throw the Oceans tag on this and give Bernie Mac some like ad libs. But like,
yeah, I still feel like that's still like, how did they make more than one? What do we got here?
What about Transformers? See, I thought the first two were good, and they kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, but then Bumblebee was good, I thought.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, you gotta. That's
they came back with Bumblebee, but everything
but
between the second one and Bumblebee.
And it's like, okay, Bumblebee was good, but like they're going completely away from that now because like Bumblebee like leaves Haley Steinfeld's character, and now it's like, are we following Bumblebee on his like adventures across America, going from like one car to the next, or what is that story? Which is like a show that I would watch, honestly. Like,
it's a really weird spinoff to do that though, because it doesn't fit in the timeline. And so it's like, do all these events take place after Witwicky?
Yeah.
But then it's like he's the only one around. Nobody else has heard of these gigantic robots. What little hole in the wall are they living in when they don't know these things exist? Planet of the Apes. Only crazy thing about Planet of the Apes is you would almost have to take the old ones as well. But I think
without the old ones, it sucks.
I like the new ones.
I was about to say, I really like the new ones. And I'm not going to say the old ones suck, but
not the like Mark Wahlberg one.
That's, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. The old ones were great. The new ones suck.
Well, the new one with Mark Wahlberg, or the new one where they're using like CGI chimps? Because I like the one with James Franco.
I think the CGI chimps is really good. That whole series by itself.
Andy Serkis went crazy.
Yeah, like he spent so much time playing Golem. He was like, "Oh, I got this." Oh, you want to do a monkey? No problem. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Mission Impossible.
I would say started strong.
Really?
I would say required viewing.
Thank you. I will meet you at required viewing.
But all of them are not required.
So that's where we have to have that. We have to have that category that's hit or miss, and then put in parentheses more hit than miss, and then another one that says more miss than hit. So that would actually be two different categories right there, because there are some where it's like in between that area.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And given that there's so many Mission Impossibles, the fact that they're still making good movies, because Fallout was damn good. I enjoyed that. And we have kind of progressed with this character. We've seen leadership
Well, once
change.
they figured out what he was and what the movies were, it was just like, yeah, just do that, dude. Like, nobody's going to Mission Impossible movies expecting like geopolitical commentary. We want you to run past some shit. We want you to jump off some shit. We want you to shoot some stuff, blow some stuff up, make it out in the end, look at your wife from a distance, and dun, 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 dun. We want to hear the music. If anything, if you can find your way to hang down from something and do one of these again, we'll take that too. We don't need complicated for Mission Impossible. We just want we want to see you doing something that seems impossible. We want to see you holding on to the side of a cargo plane. We want to see you outrunning a dust storm. We want to, that's what we want to see.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I can't stand Tom Cruise.
I too am not a big fan, but it's the only thing I like him in.
I was about to say, let me tell you something. Regardless of how you feel about Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt is a hell of a character. Okay, when he becomes Ethan Hunt, he ain't Tom Cruise no more. And that's how, like in my head, that's how it works. When he becomes that character, it's an exception because he fits for that character. You don't like him as Jack Reacher, you just can't seem to get over that.
Oh no, I don't like him as anything. I don't like Tom Cruise. I haven't liked Tom Cruise since Vanilla Sky.
Well, that's not fair to Vanilla Sky because that wasn't a good movie. But I mean, we could go through like his library by itself. He's got some hits in there. What did we decide on Transformers? Started strong?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we placed Mission Impossible. Okay, we did place Mission Impossible. I want to pick these two. The Scooby-Doo 5-film collection.
5 film?
Yeah, apparently.
Is this the one with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah. Or at least one of them is going to have him.
Well, 2 of them.
I mean, they're not bad. I just don't like them.
But you know what's funny? Like, I'm with you there. I understand what you mean. Let me see if I can pull up this image. This may help. Maybe it'll tell us what 5 films are in this collection.
Even if you say the names, we're not going to know what none of these movies are. Like, there's one where they're at, like, a beach party.
That's 2. Monsters Unleashed. And I like that one. Linda Cardellini as Velma Dinkley. I like the deleted scene. That one I'm good with. The first Scooby-Doo, I'm good with because it was kind of cool seeing the live action Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. Apparently, one of the other ones is Mystery Begins, and it's a younger group.
Yeah, I've seen like previews for that.
And why does this look like a bootleg version of the live action? Like, I feel like that dog has felt on it. Okay.
That was part of my issue with the Scooby-Doo too. I didn't like how they rendered like the CGI Scooby really that much. He felt like he was made out of like, you know that toy Stretch Armstrong?
Yes.
The CGI felt like one of those. He didn't feel like not like a real dog, but like just like a more cartoony version of a real dog. It felt weird. And they all like felt out of place, or it was something about like the way the world was like styled and built that I just visually couldn't latch on to with those movies.
Really? You just gonna drop that there?
We're gonna go ahead and move Fast and Furious up here to God tier.
Amen, brother.
See,
I don't disagree with that statement because let me tell you something. If they tell me there's another Fast and Furious movie coming out, guess what? I'm going to see that shit just because it's a Fast and Furious movie.
but they could have stopped 3 movies ago.
Doesn't matter. I've seen them all. I enjoy them all. And the thing is, like, not only could they have stopped, they recognized that they weren't going to stop and they leaned into it.
Yeah. It's like, it's one of those movies where it's just like Fast and the Furious is honestly one of the movie franchises where I would say fan service has helped it. Like, fan service was the ones that was like, they need to put The Rock in the Fast and the Furious movies. Fan service is the one that was like, are you going to outer space? Like, people are just, it's a movie franchise that doesn't take itself so seriously that it can't like listen to its fans, even if it does pretend like the idea was theirs. Actually, like, I don't care. Like, Tyrese and Ludacris went to outer space in the last movie. Like, it's crazy. And I think that, you know, considering what we've seen from like even like a DC and them struggling to build a universe off of characters who are approaching like a century of history, like, we have a more cohesive Fast and Furious universe than we do DC Comics, DC like movie universe right now. And
I will agree with that.
That's an impressive feat, in my opinion. They've handled the death of a major cornerstone franchise star of the franchise. They've handled like beef and exit of a major the person who honestly, in my opinion, and I mean, if we're going to just be factually correct, is responsible for like revitalizing the franchise and The Rock. I mean, it's just like nothing about the Fast and the Furious franchise being this successful actually makes sense when you think about it.
I was literally about to say, every time you see something in the movie that tells you should not be watching this movie, something good happens that keeps you watching it. So when you hear about the next one, they actually continue to improve like the quality of the movies, if that even makes sense. Because in the first one, the whole like we're not even going to try to figure out or make sense of how local car thief and small time hood is now an international spy. You know what I'm saying? Like Dominic Toretto is Xander Cage.
I mean, I get it. He can drive. I feel like that's 75% of being a good spy is being able to get away.
And I'm with that. But it's like, I don't feel that there's any valid reason for Dominic Toretto to have the contacts he has for the small time capers he was pulling that started the beginning of the movie.
Well, no, it's
the beginning
but,
of the franchise.
But okay, because you have to think about it like this, right? We're thinking about it from the standpoint of like, we have been seeing Dominic Toretto do spy driving for a bunch of movies where you got to remember he started off street racing, and a lot of those street races end up as car chases with the cops, and they never caught him. And so if you're on the government's radar, if you're a getaway driver that can get away from the cops, even if they like even if the feds like we're gonna leave you alone, eventually if they come in there and they're like, we need somebody to drive and get somebody away, like they gonna show up at your door and be like, hey bruh, we got you on camera, we got everything we need, you do this job for us, or
I mean, and like with the introduction of Mr. Nobody and that sort of thing,
yeah,
it starts to
make more sense.
And that is my point. When this series started, Paul Walker was an undercover FBI agent, and the thing was, these were small-time criminals who were using, very tactical driving maneuvers to pull off these insane heists. So we've always had the crazy car sequences since the beginning of the franchise. But it has evolved into something where now Dominic Toretto is on international radars because he's that guy that did that thing. Did you hear about that one guy who used to be like a crazy driver, and he did this, his crew knocked over this bank or did that thing? Yeah, they caught him. I don't know, some guy named Dominic Toretto. You know what I'm saying? And now my man like is international, got kids in other countries, like, bruh. But
they had to leave because they were like on every government like
right
most wanted list.
And what happens is they hear somebody like me sitting here complaining about the movie and how this is so unbelievable, and they keep writing shit in to make it more and more and more believable.
Yep.
And so now when we get to the end, we're like, you know what? I remember when Tej was just some dude in a garage because he was a name. Now he a full-blown hacker.
Yeah. Tech genius.
By the time we get Ramsey in, and she comes in as another tech person, we're like, oh, we got a little love connection. Look at the two techies. They over here having tech talk. It's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the series has legitimately evolved from being something completely outlandish to a ridiculous type of outlandish to a Mission Impossible style outlandish. Because the shit we see Tom Cruise doing falls in the same category. Come on, bro. That ain't happening.
But it's just those. But it's just those movies are serious. The whole movie is serious, and it's like, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Tyrese in Mission Impossible.
I think Tyrese would do better in something like Mission Impossible, because essentially, like,
I love Tyrese in Fast and Furious. He's my favorite character.
Oh yeah, Roman.
The Rock is gone.
Honestly, like, Roman was great from the moment we saw him, and I think he was the perfect contrast to Paul Walker's character when they first hooked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been great that whole time. The point I'm making, and the reason I think that this still stays as God tier, is because, much like you said, fan service has done nothing but help this movie. They started off with this one little thing that probably would have been one, maybe two movies. And they continue to improve upon it and build on it. And they've continued to write in more and more features and factors that give validity to the story, to the characters. They've allowed the characters to advance and evolve. And now, yeah, the Toretto family, they are the go-to guys for Mr. Nobody, this offsite, this off-the-books Black Ops director. Hell yeah, because he's got a crew that can do the things he needs done.
They clearly were like, oh, Marvel, that Nick Fury idea. Yeah, that's nice. We get our own Nick Fury.
There you go.
And you know what? I'm not mad at it because it works. And sometimes you need to have the like wherewithal to like look around and say like, let's try this because it seems to work. Like, we need to start having like logical reasons for them doing this stuff if we want to like continue to like push the envelope on like what our final piece is, because that's really what the movies is all about. It's just like, all right, like, how complicated is this last final chase thing gonna be? Because once they did that thing in Brazil with the safe, it was a wrap. It was like, okay, like, you guys have to close every movie out like this from now on.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely like raise the bar when you do some shit like that. Slap a few here to the front. We can. We'll move Austin Powers back here. Bourne can get in this list. We'll talk about him. Beverly Hills Cop.
Always good for a laugh.
But see, keep in mind, I was about to say, keep in mind, this is a whole franchise. Because you can't tell me that Beverly Hills Cop 3 was just your jam. Even Beverly Hills Cop 2, for that matter.
Hey, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is still good.
Yeah, I will say Beverly Hills Cop 2 is pretty good. But
like, it wasn't as great as the first one. But you can't tell me it was a horrible movie.
I don't think any of them actually qualify as a horrible movie. There were some parts of it that were kind of like yawn, but there again, I mean, a lot of the movies we're talking about fall into this exact category where it's like, until you tell me that Axel Foley is like a retired military specialist, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't no Green Beret. Remember when Green Berets were like, oh, he's Green Beret. That was all you needed. Now you would be like, oh, he's a Navy SEAL. That was enough. Now you got to be like, oh no, he's had like 14 tours in like 20 years of specialized training.
He was on SEAL Team 6.
Right.
It's like, damn, bro, how many people on SEAL Team 6? Sound like a lot.
Yeah, I think Beverly Hills Cop 2, that might be the weak entry. Beverly Hills Cop 3, a little more like back to what works. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
See, what they should have did was they should have sent him to different cities. Because the thing about Beverly Hills Cop was him being a fish out of water.
Yeah.
And it's like contrasting his Detroit street style to Beverly Hills. And it's like the first time, yeah, that's interesting. But 3 times, like, damn, bro, you should know where you are by now.
And at this point, you've made enough noise that other people know who you are too.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's yeah. I still feel like Beverly Hills Cop is probably
like if you were told me like which of this is the series is required viewing, the only one I would say is the first one.
I don't know. I would say the first one and the third one.
As required viewing. Like if people were sitting around talking about Beverly Hills Cop, if you haven't seen Beverly Hills Cop, it doesn't matter because they're not talking about that one.
True.
They're talking about the first one, you know?
And generally speaking, whenever you make references, like anytime I hear somebody make a reference to Beverly Hills Cop, it's always the first one.
Yep, banana and tailpipe.
Is this
the man?
Bad Boys.
Required viewing.
Yeah.
Good with that. Terminator.
I'm out. I got to be up in like 4 hours.
All right, man. You go let me and Jeff finish out this list.
We're not about to do all these. We're about to do 3 more.
Bet.
I got to go to bed too.
I mean, if we only going to do 3 more.
You know what? I didn't even realize we are almost at time. Yeah, we are at 2:47. So we got 15 minutes left on the show. So let's see.
All right. I'll hang out.
We got Terminator.
Started strong.
Started strong.
Scary movie.
Started
that's
strong.
gonna be after what the Wayans had the first 3.
Yeah, as I said, started strong.
Mm-hmm.
The Haunted Mansion one was like the last one that I liked. I think that was 2.
Was that 2? I thought that one was 3. I don't recall, but yeah, the ones that were produced by the Wayans were the good ones.
Yeah.
Rambo. I put Rambo under required viewing.
Same.
Yeah.
I think he somehow has not missed with that character.
He did better with Rambo than he did with Rocky.
I think he was a little bit more particular about Rambo. Rocky, he was just that was his claim to fame, so he just hopped on that. Somebody was like, "Hey, we should make a Rocky movie. Let's do it. You want to do a Rocky movie? We can do a Rocky movie. I'm okay with that." He's like, "We should do Rambo." No. It's just like no. Let's see, Raiders or Indiana Jones. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. That's required viewing for me.
Yeah.
Because even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is just silly because what? But it's still a good Indiana Jones movie. Like the biggest complaint I have with that is okay, so now we're doing aliens. Sure, why not? Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, honestly, it kind of fits.
Right. It's like you're just yeah, why not? Yeah, we're up to aliens. I think we're at aliens now. That's about right. And then on top of that, I mean, he's already drunk the everlasting water, so he's immortal. Sure. Sure, let's do another one. The Godfather.
See, I'm gonna say God tier.
Yeah, go and put it up there.
Okay.
The first two
I was
do
about to say
enough.
it's required viewing to me. It's
The first two do enough, but I think it's one of those where it's like, considering how high the first two are considered, it's kind of like the third one not being as good. You never really know if it's like, is this bad or is it just not as good as 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I may not have ever considered it from that perspective. It was definitely required viewing, no question there. But I was like, that's a tough one. Austin Powers.
How did they make more than one? I know why, because the first one made a boatload of money, but geez Louise.
I laughed my ass off at all three of them.
Yeah. Because see, I was going to say required viewing on that one.
Yeah.
Because all three
you
of
don't
them
have to.
Hilarious. Yeah, agree to disagree.
You don't have to watch anything else Mike Myers did if you watch Austin Powers. You watch those three, and then like having Michael Caine come in, like those.
Now, since we've got that up there, I noticed Shrek on the list.
I feel like that falls in a different category, literally because it's animated, and I get them trying to incorporate all these fairy tales and that sort of thing.
See, I would say started strong.
Yeah,
okay.
I would too. The first Shrek is good.
I'm like, I can't put it under required viewing.
Oh no,
Toy Story.
No.
Ooh, Toy Story might be God tier. I don't think Toy Story has missed a single thing that they've tried to do. Just give me an argument for it not being God tier.
I have none.
Yeah, I have none.
Like that. That might be the. It is. That is the quintessential.
Like, it's not perfect, but it's like,
it's
for four kids movies over the span of like 20 years.
That is the
still remain relevant and tell like different stories about like childhood and ownership and nostalgia. I think that it's like, kind of is doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of being an emotional support franchise for people our age.
And if you think about it, like, when was the last movie put out?
3 years ago.
Has it only been
it was more like it was definitely before the pandemic.
So
it was probably like 3-4 years ago.
So it's been a minute, and you're still seeing people. They're putting Woody hanging off the back of their truck, putting Buzz hanging off the back of their truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's a thing.
Toy Story 4 came out 2019. Yeah.
I mean, hell, people still talk about the
Ghostbusters.
To include Afterlife and the remake.
Yeah.
Still required.
Yeah, I think Afterlife unfortunately suffered from like the business end of the pandemic. Because I think if it had come out in theaters when people were actually not afraid to go to theaters and it hadn't been yanked around and delayed so much, I think people would have had a better response to it.
Oh yeah.
Good plane movie though. I watched it on the way back from Italy.
Let's see. No, you don't do scary. Dave, Evil Dead.
See, I don't know.
Which
Evil
one keeps?
Dead.
Yeah. Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, Ash, chainsaw for a hand, boomstick.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no, I was telling Jeff because he probably hadn't watched Evil Dead.
No clue.
Yeah. But I mean,
Which one is keeping you from putting it under required?
it's the fact that it is so freaking hokey that, like, they're decent movies.
So Evil Dead starts off and it's like they don't realize the movie that they're making. Ends up doing a lot better than they think it is, so they try to do Evil Dead 2 and make it good. Then they're like, wait, what was that? Go back to the first one, so we get Army of Darkness, where they just Fast and Furious that shit, lean all the way into what people want and give us even Army of Darkness. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's required viewing for me.
Okay.
Do you want it somewhere else?
Well, it definitely doesn't fall into the how do they make more of the than one, because they're all watchable movies. Like, there's nothing really wrong with the movies other than the second one where they tried too hard. And then I kind of think, like, the TV show, they tried too hard.
Yeah. Mighty Ducks. How many Mighty Ducks movies are there?
3.
There are 3 movies and 2 seasons of a TV show.
And that's the new TV show?
Yes. Plus, there is the animated series,
which has nothing to do with the
movies
or show, because those were actual
alien ducks escaping
right.
the evil Dragonus.
Anthropomorphic ducks that were fighting and
yeah. I think that I would put it under required viewing. I think that the third one kind of drags it down from being God tier. I think the first 2 are like pretty phenomenal kids movies and like tween movies, but that third one, it was a little too heavy on the heartwarming, a little too light on the Gordon Bombay for my taste.
Gotcha. We got
he was like barely in it.
Yeah. He was only in like the one scene where he came back and convinced Charlie. Ninja Turtles started strong. Bring It On started strong.
You know what? I've only seen the first Bring It On.
And you have not missed anything.
I haven't seen any of them.
The first one's worth watching. It's funny.
What did you say? Ninja Turtles? Now, if Ninja Turtles, is that going to include... Well, I guess it has to, because it's going to include... Even this image shows the first sets. And I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's just going to be a nostalgia factor.
The first Ninja Turtles movie is good. Ninja Turtles 2 is not good. Ninja Turtles 3 is not good. The reboot with Megan Fox is not good. They need to reboot Ninja Turtles and just make it like John Wick, but less bloody. Like the first movie was like more adult and it was like more sinister and more geared towards like, it felt like more like that comic book feel, even the like soundtrack. And then the second movie was very like kiddie. Even the change in like the model to like the turtles was geared more towards kids. The fights were more about like cracking jokes. I mean, they did that in the first one, but there was like fighting too. But the second one was just like, man, what comedy writers room punched this script up, because
that's what you be talking about though. They got to sell them toys, so you know.
I know, but they sold toys after the first one too. They was already selling toys because of the cartoon.
Yeah,
true.
So,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Required.
Yeah, it's a lot of them too, though, ain't it?
It is. It's like 5.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
All right, one more, and I gotta go to bed. Hunger Games. No, I'm just playing.
All right.
I mean, Hunger Games, I would put started strong, but we don't have to do that one.
I would say Mad Max.
Okay, it's a good one to pick. Where we sending our boy Mad Max?
I say it started strong. And because we said that's kind of it could have started good or ended good. Like the first movie was really good. The second movie was kind of off the rails. The third movie was pretty good. The reboot was really good.
I would put that under required viewing because it sounds to me it's like there's more good to watch, but it's just that like little speed bump in the middle that is the second movie. It's interesting how many I feel like it's one of those things where it's like when you look at a lot of these franchises too, the franchises where the second movie is the best movie are the ones that like suffer afterwards, but like all the franchises where the second movie was like actually kind of bad went on to make like 10 more movies.
Because the first one was good, they greenlit a second one. Something went wrong the second time, and then they figured out what does and doesn't work. They either return back to the original formula or they tweak the errors that made it go down in the second. Yeah. Anybody object to Lethal Weapon being required viewing?
No.
Nope.
Okay. As you can see, there's a bunch more movies that we could actually pick from. I kind of feel like what's left is like, maybe we don't have to do those. Yeah. It's kind of okay. That is a list. I will be putting this in the group, making it available for others to view and see, and we will
argue about.
Right. And let us know what you would move and what you would do differently. We'll have some more of these coming up. We'll be looking at a tournament bracket coming up pretty soon. May have to go in and tweak some of the movies on there. I have to play around with the options, see what I can do to make that work. Because I don't know how I feel about some of the movie choices they gave. But if those are the movies in the tournament, maybe we'll just run that. Nonetheless, we have been Grown A Geeks. This has been Weigh In Wednesday. We got a chance to talk about some movies, do tier maker, and do what we do. Have a good time. We appreciate those of you who stopped by to join us. You can catch this on our group. You can go to Facebook and find our group, Grown A Geeks. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitch, and just about anywhere you catch your podcast. So listen for the audio only content there. I'm not going to hold y'all. Folks is ready to go to bed. It's been fun. We will holler at you later. Peace.